it sounds kind of crazy. I didn't dive really into the criminal aspect of selling drugs until I became a law enforcement officer.
Hey guys, today's guest is Gary Heyward. He is an author and former corrections officer on Rikers Island. Gary served on Rikers for 10 years back in the late 90s and early 2000s. He ended up running a smuggling ring inside of Rikers Island. He would bring in tobacco, drugs, even women for the inmates. And he eventually took a fall, did a couple of years in prison. He wrote several best-selling books about his experience. He's got a great YouTube channel you should go check out. And he's here to tell us everything about that time. And we've got amazing content we can't even show you on YouTube. Go over to patreon.com/TheConnectShow for a bonus episode with Gary. Without further ado, I give you Gary Heyward right here on The Connect with Johnny Mitchell.
I had a boy running the newsstand. He called me like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, what happened? Like, I'm thinking something happened. He said, you are on the front page of the Daily News.
That's when I see lights behind me start to flash. And I didn't even think, I just hit it. I was driving like my life depended on it. And then I parked the car, hopped out, closed the door, and I started running.
And he pulls out a burner, a shank, it's like 6 inches. And then he passes it to me. And he goes, here, that's yours. Don't ever leave the cell block without this. He was the reason I made it out of that place alive.
Well, it's good to have you, man.
Hey, good to be here, man.
I have know nothing about your story. I've got a blurb. I'm so excited because, you know, we have a lot of different stripes of former criminals on this show. We always talk about Rikers. Rikers, just the name instills a kind of attitude, right? It's a brand. I grew up a white kid in Portland, Oregon. I knew what Rikers was since I'm 5th grade. Hearing it in rap songs, you know what I mean?
Yep.
You know, it's a culture, and you were part of that culture.
Yes, I was.
So start at the beginning, though. Where are you from? Harlem?
From Harlem, New York City. Born and raised.
That's right. One of the best places in the world.
Yes. You know, it was comfortable. It was, you know, it was a lifestyle. We was running around. You know, I was happy.
Where'd you grow up? What part of Harlem?
Polo Ground Projects.
Yeah, I've been there.
You know, back in the day, it was a baseball field, the Polo Grounds baseball field, and they turned it into a housing development.
Yeah.
1967, when I was born, and my mom and, we moved in. We was the first one on our floor.
Wow.
That's
wild.
Yes.
That's a part of history. Are they still there?
What, the
Your family? No, your family.
Yeah, my mom still there, lives there. I don't,
Yeah, you got out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Trying to get out, but she's, stuck.
Yeah.
They don't want to move.
Yeah. So you came up in that era. You're a 70s, 80s baby.
Yes.
So it's obviously, it's a crack-infested, wild-ass neighborhood.
Yes.
You have Bradhurst, where, they would dump the bodies in the buildings.
That's it.
We've had some Harlem cats on here, you know?
Yeah.
So were you involved in that?
No, I was kind of young when all that was going on. I was a young man. Guilt by association, going to school. If your best friend joined the gang at the time, it wasn't the Bloods and the Crips at the time. It was Zulu Nation. I'm not even gonna call it a gang, but it was
an organization. A clique.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Stuff like that. That was one of the things that was swamped. Going through high school and everything. They had gangs like the Decepticons, Zulu Nation, and stuff like that. Yeah. So as far as the drug game back then and there, very minute part. Like I think I had to be like 15 years old before I even dabbled in selling drugs and stuff like that. And that didn't work for me.
Really?
No.
Really? So when crack hit, you tried your hand at it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, this is the way it is. You and I hang together all the time. See, you pretty tall. Say you're a basketball player, but I don't play basketball. But I'm with you I'm your best friend, this, that. So eventually, guilt by association, we need one more. So then, now I'm playing basketball.
Right.
So now, as far as the law goes, if anybody was selling drugs and you're hanging with them, your buddy, you might not have nothing to do with it. But if every day you're with them, and when they go shopping, they buy you sneakers, they buy you clothing, and they go to the club, and you drinking and enjoying his criminal acts, then by guilt by association, you knew, you didn't run to the cops, you didn't tell them to stop, you was enjoying that. It's just
Right.
like with if you do it out your mom's house.
Yeah.
When they come raid the homes, I've seen people with their mother handcuffed with her face to the ground because you were out there
Right.
selling drugs. So that's me. I dabbled in it, a little bit, but with me, the crackheads was coming up to me saying, "Listen, stop, go back to school."
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's love.
Listen, it sounds kind of crazy. I didn't dive really into the criminal aspect of selling drugs until I became a law enforcement officer.
Wow.
And
Well,
that's
save that. So, speaking of corrupt law enforcement, in the 80s, cops, every precinct had a number.
Yes.
And,
The 30-30.
That's right. And if you, got hemmed up, we talked to a lot of dope dealers on this show. And,
Okay.
They would say, like, if their man got caught with a pistol, 10 grand, 15 grand to get him out of this precinct. You go talk to this cop. Dirty money it touched every part of New York back
Yes.
then. Were you aware of that as like a teenager? Did you know the cops that could be paid off?
I knew of cops. I don't know if I can say their name.
No, don't say names, but
I knew of cops that had crack houses that you knew that was his work. That was
Really?
yes.
Wow.
And they were vicious in defending their territory. Now, it's kind of like they couldn't be too territorial because you were law enforcement.
Right.
But, if you really look at it, if they wanted to bust, they knew who to bust. Everybody, it was no secret.
Right.
But they had their own crack house and was running their own drugs. And back then, if I knew that you were a cop and that's your crack house, I knew other people knew that just didn't.
Right.
No, because
Now, were they working with the cops, or were the cops just jacking, raiding other dealers and then taking their work and selling it
As
off?
far as I knew what I heard, because I used to hang in a spot called a gambling spot where everybody shoots CeeLo and shoot dice. So you hear everything. You see, that's such and such. And, you learn as a kid and then, growing up, they would do raids and stuff in another barrel.
Right.
And
Maybe shoot over to Queens and hit a house
and then
take it back up top.
I'll tell you one thing, he never ran out of product.
He was never dry.
Yeah, he never ran out of product.
Yeah.
But I knew about that.
What is the relationship between, then in the 80s, early 90s, what was the relationship between like good cops, right, or clean cops and people of Harlem, black people?
I'm gonna tell you what I would call a good cop. You could be shooting dice, or you might be on the corner selling weed. He'll come and say, "Get off this corner," instead of just the normal take you in, throw the handcuffs on you, this and that. I've seen a cop give somebody a spanking, like, "I know your mother."
Right.
Get off that. That is what you call a good cop.
Right.
Then we all know the dirty cops. So,
well, what's the cop in between? The cop that isn't on the take, but he's brutal. Like he's Sean Penn from Colors, right?
Yes.
Comes up and puts the knee on your neck immediately and throws you up against the wall. Like, where does he fit in? Were there any of those guys?
Yes, I ran into a couple. Me and my friends, because back then they didn't differentiate as in these are the bad guys, these are the bad color guys, and these are the color guys that go to school, because we all play basketball. We all ran in the same neighborhood until the sun went down and people started doing their thing.
Right.
So I ran into a couple of cops that would harass us, and it wasn't even to arrest you. It was just to put that knee on your back and kind of like send a message that I'm walking this beat.
Right.
Now, and because in the neighborhood, they got some woman in the projects and that they
smashing.
Yeah. So you kind of know, but it's really not a big deal. It's like, oh look what we know over here. It's like, okay, that's such and such over there, and he's messing with such and such. So we know when he goes in the building, we know that it's all right because he's going to be up there a while.
Oh, interesting.
know.
Now, okay, years later, when you were a corrections officer, did you feel like Like maybe you hated that cop back then, that tough ass cop who was mean, who put his hands on you. But did you feel when you became the law, the police, were you like, oh, I get it. You got to make sure these motherfuckers know who's in charge.
I had a moment, right? And I'm a brand new CO, fresh out the military. You know, I was a Marine, so, you know, I'm pretty fit. And, you know, I was a big guy. So they have a intake area where all the inmates, when you get arrested, you come to Rikers Island, you come to the intake. So here it is, me, fresh out the academy, wanting to be the best of the best. And I'm like, excuse me, gentlemen, excuse me, sir, can you simmer down? Can you be quiet? Sir, can I get a moment? Because I'm trying to get them quiet to give them the welcome to Rikers Island speech. Right. And nobody's giving me, paying any attention.
Right.
So all I hear is, can you curse on this?
Yeah.
If you I need to hear a pin fart and die. One of you motherfuckers up. So I'm turning around and it's this little female, older CO that's giving them the business. Yeah. And I'm sitting here like this, like I'm the big guy. And guess what? They shut up. They stopped talking. Yeah. And right then and there, I knew that I had to set the tone.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it went from me being, hey, gentlemen, you guys, to that was him. Y'all next.
Right.
And that's I hate to say it, it was because we had paperwork to do. We had work. I ain't got time to be sitting here talking to all y'all. So I already know. Smack one of them up. The rest of y'all gonna fall in line because now you're here and it's not a game.
So smacking an inmate just to keep order was normal.
I saw somebody do it first.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah.
Wow. So so it's routine for officers to put their hands on inmates.
I'm gonna say it like this. At the time, you do what you need to do to make your point.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And of course, right now, Mothers of America or different advocate groups, you can't just be going around, even in the jail right now, and just putting your hands and doing what you want to do.
You got to be much more careful now. You could get in trouble.
Lawsuits, you lose your job.
Everybody's wearing body cameras.
Yes, and there's cameras everywhere. You know, and it's so bad on Rikers Island right now that it's like the inmates got more rights.
Right.
Like they can, you know, like I remember a time where inmates squirted feces in my face and everything.
No, bro.
And I'm like, let me take this badge off.
Yeah.
But the camera was there.
Oh, I wouldn't care if the camera was there.
And I had a partner that got feces squirting in his face. He took his shield off, went to the camera, Johnny Black, shield number 72, this and that, hung it on the camera, and it went in there and just
put in work?
Yeah.
Damn. Come on. No, you're just human.
Yeah.
So let me get back though to your teenage years.
Okay.
How do people from Harlem feel, or we'll call them the black community in general, right?
Okay.
How do people feel, you know, about people from the hood growing up and becoming cops?
Okay. When I was growing up, poor, but holy sneakers, playing basketball and stuff like that, we really didn't know we were poor because everybody was like that.
Right.
Until you start getting outside the circle to see that, yo, we really was poor. So one of the things in the neighborhood is get yourself a city or state job.
Right.
Do your 25 years, get your pension.
Yeah. While
you doing it, get your home, move out the neighborhood.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And like a city or state job was quote for a better life. Everybody wasn't a good rapper. Everybody didn't have a jump shot. Right. Like Biggie said in his song, you know, so
crack
you get,
rock or
exactly.
Jump shot.
So you know, you get yourself a city or state job, and if you law abiding citizen, things will work out for you.
Right.
Put your kids through college.
Maybe we'll get a house in Jersey or out to Queens or something. Right.
And that's what.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
So it was respected. Like even the dope dealers, right? Obviously their enemy is the cops or certain cops. But if you are from the hood, grew up with these cats that are now out hustling, and you said, hey, I'm going to go to the Marines and then become a cop, they don't look at you like a traitor.
Some people did. Like, you got to understand, cops got a bad rap, right? Only because there's cameras now. Because cops have been being cops for a long time.
For sure.
You know, but what I'm trying to say is, I didn't know that I was going to join the Marines right off the back, and then I definitely didn't know I was going to be a correction officer, because it's like, when you're growing up, what do you want to be? Fire, doctor, lawyer, fireman, police, you know, nobody says I want to be a correction officer.
Right.
So when I went to the military and then came home to become a correction officer, it was a job. People look at it like, you got to get it, you know, you got to get a job to survive. Now, the people who have had bad run-in with cops and just hate police, like me and you, cool. I used to play basketball. We was in the same third grade. Oh, but now you a pig. Now you're that.
Yeah.
And I don't like that. So that means that in your psyche, in your mind, you picked up that shield knowing what your coworkers do. So now some of them have a disdain for you,
right?
Because when I got arrested, people who I thought I was all right with, was like,
right.
I hope he done. I hope he gets what he,
yeah, exactly. So there's a tribalism between the criminals and the cops.
Yes.
Yeah, and even though you're cool one day,
because it's like, once you put this shield on, like, let me just say this. I didn't walk into Rikers Island and say, you know what, my master scheme is I'm going to go through the academy, become a CO so I can sell drugs. That's not what it was. You know, when you're doing this job, I don't care how cool you is, because I've had instances where I beat up my best friend for the sake of the job. So now you're in this, you're here. Now you don't know everybody. So the brainwashing is, you're law enforcement now, who everybody else is inmate. He's an inmate, scum of the earth, low, and they want you to adapt that mentality.
Yeah, they want you to dehumanize them.
Yes.
So you can forget that they were once your friend.
Exactly.
And you can beat them up.
Yeah,
if need be.
You know, some people do what the culture expects them to do. Like in Rikers Island, they teach you in the academy, I really don't like you. You really don't like me. But we're both correction officers. So we're already outnumbered. So I might not like you, but I'm not going to let no inmate whip your behind. So you could be having an argument with an inmate in the hallway, and I'm like, hey, I really don't vibe with him. But one of the things I'm supposed to do as an officer is stand there just to show support. To let that inmate know that me and you are together, and you run your mouth, you try to do something, we're gonna pound you out, we're gonna stomp you out. Yeah. That's
just what it was.
Yeah.
I mean I get why maybe it's necessary, but that's a scary proposition.
It is,
because you're a big dude.
And they got dudes in there that all they do is lift weights all day and wait for the alarm to come so they can go whip some ass. They got gloves with metal inserts in them. And yes.
Wait, corrections officers?
Yes.
Wow, bro. Okay, so save this, because this is wild. So when do you think those cats that grew up in the neighborhood, the hood, that grew up to become cops, wouldn't they want to like join forces with the cats hustling? You know what I mean? Like, wouldn't you see that as an asset? Like, like he's maybe, even if you're not, directly taking money, maybe you come up to your boy who's moving weight and say, hey, there's, they're lining up to like raid. You should fall back.
Some people did that, but see, correction officers wasn't privy to police officers' information.
Right, of course.
Well,
what I'm saying is, like, is there, do people that grow up in places like Harlem alongside criminals who choose to become law enforcement officers, do they, when they come in contact with their old gang, right? Now, they're adults, he's a criminal, he's a law-abiding citizen.
Yeah.
Do the cops tend to look the other way, or do they collab with them? Or, what do you think?
It could go both ways, right? Self-preservation. We all in the hood, we all trying to get out. you got a wicked jump shot. You went off to school. I still know your mom, your sister, and everything, but you're over there in Kentucky. You over there wherever, playing ball. Me, I'm not so lucky. So now I got the city or state job, my way out.
Yeah,
being an officer, my way out, and self-preservation. I'm really trying to get my family out. So by every means necessary, and you're in my way. You're doing criminal activity. I'm gonna uphold this oath, this badge.
Yeah.
Not because I want to be super correction officer, because this is my job and this is my way out of the ghetto. Now, if me and you are super tight, of course, you know, I'm gonna go into business with you. And
so you know how in Departed, you know how the story of the Boston mob, they actually groomed one of their, one of the young Irish boys from the neighborhood.
Okay.
Helped him get into the academy.
Okay.
Helped him become a high-ranking officer in the state police, I think, just so they could use him to feed them information. You don't think black people do that, do you? Do they do crack dealers like raise young cats to become cops to then work with them?
Let me tell you something. There's been COs who been on the job a long time, and they raid their house and find kilos of cocaine in their wall.
Right. You still read about that. I read about that in the New York Post.
So,
right.
Yeah. So
interesting. So there's close parallels between, especially COs in the street.
Yeah, definitely. Because a lot of correction officers, I don't know about any other town, but a lot of correction officers come straight from the same neighborhoods as the criminals.
Yeah.
And that's why, like I wrote in my book, one of the things that you're supposed to they teach in the academy is you're not supposed to be associated with known felons and be partying and being around them. And it's like, okay, I'm from Polo Grounds, I'm from Harlem, or somebody might be from Brooklyn or whatever, and a 50-mile radius. Come on, you're lucky right now if you're walking in New York City with no felony or no police contact, so much as a loitering ticket or a desk appearance ticket. So if you're a millionaire if you don't have no contact with no
it's
police.
Impossible.
Yes.
Yeah. So why did you decide to go to the Marines?
One of my best friends joined the Army. My brother, rest in peace, joined the Marines. This is when I was trying my hand at being a crack dealer.
Okay.
Yeah,
why were you not a crack dealer? Why could the crackheads tell that wasn't really your bag?
Because, coming up, I was a clean-cut kid, went to school, played basketball. Now, I still hung with people, older guys, who were drug dealers. But everybody knew me.
Yeah.
They knew that. You never saw me stand on the corner pitching, selling, or nothing like that. So when my girlfriend at the time got pregnant and I dropped out of high school, I had to do something. So I tried it. Because like I said, back then and then, I don't know how the law was, but the younger you were, the less time you were going to get. So they would use us at the time, younger people, to pitch and be out there and take all the risks.
Yeah.
So it lasted, I think my drug kingpin run at that time lasted about 2-3 months because my girlfriend was pregnant with my son and I had to get money. I was so ignorant about the game was I worked for like a month. I think I gave this guy like about 60 grand. So I'm thinking if this dude give me $1,500, I could get the crib, I could get the sneakers. I get, set my kid up at the time. And I did that. And he came and gave me a hot $100
for moving $60,000 worth of work.
Because I was
what is that, like a brick?
Yeah, and I was in the crack house, brand new at it. Really, like I took it serious. Like I was working on an assembly line. Like I was really, like it was a really 9-to-5 legit job. Not knowing I'm making this guy rich, and I'm just thinking, like in hindsight, I should have got at least 10 grand or something
of
off
course.
Of that. And I'm shooting for $1,500.
Yeah.
So that tells you how much knowledge I had about that. And when he gave me $100, that's what I was like, no. And then other crackheads that was out there looked at me leery.
Right.
Like, come on, I know your mom.
This
is not you. at all to be standing out here on the street. So right after I decided not to do that, I started getting other odd jobs. Then my brother came home from the military. Of course, Mom said, he's out there in the street. So he took me down to the Marine recruiter. And that was it. I was reluctant, but at the time they was persistent, coming to take you to lunch and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I took the little military ASVAB test June 3rd. June 6th, I was on that plane. I had nothing else going.
Where'd they send you?
Paris Island.
Where?
Paris Island, South Carolina.
Okay.
To boot camp.
Right. So you did boot camp, and then you served how long?
I served 6 years.
Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah, and then I was stationed in California. I'm definitely a decorated war veteran.
Yeah.
So
did you go to Desert Storm? Okay.
Yes, I was in Desert Storm, Desert Shield. I fought in the whole war and everything. Made it home in one piece, and came home to being a security guard job until I took the test to be a correction officer.
Was that kind of a natural next step since you'd been in the military to go into some kind of law enforcement?
It wasn't at the time coming from the military. It wasn't that many jobs out there.
Right.
Security guard, you're a big guy, you fit.
Yeah.
So, and then like I said, the thought process was still the same. Now you're back in the hood. Get yourself down, but you got the military behind you.
Right.
Law enforcement, a lot of military people go straight into law enforcement. Why not?
Right.
And I took the test to be a police officer, and it had a combined test. And I ended up, correction called me first.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just looking for a job.
Right.
It wasn't like I want to be a cop.
Right.
I'm just looking for a job. Correction called me first. That's where I'm going.
What year is this?
1997.
Okay. And you started immediately at Rikers?
Yes. They threw you right in there.
They throw you right into the zoo.
You get like about 2 days at the academy, and then they said, I guess it's like, okay, we really want to see if you're going to stick. We could tell you all the scary stories, right? But we want to see if you need to decide if you're going to be made for this.
Right.
And like the second day there, we went to Rikers just as a tour.
Yeah.
And I went to a place called HDM. And that's the closest thing that looked like Alcatraz. I'm talking about the tiers and the inmates hanging off the tiers. And I saw how inventive inmates can be. Like a 3-liter soda bottle can take some heat.
Yeah.
When they're trying to cook. I'm like, that's plastic. But it doesn't melt. That water will boil before that plastic will melt.
Wow.
And I'm sitting there and I was terrified.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I was terrified. But I was more scared of being broke and not having anything. And then I'm seeing females walk around there, correction officers, and I'm thinking, you're in here with these dudes, these killers, this, that. Aren't you as a female? Like if in my hindsight, if I'm in here doing double life, I'm about to go up to do double life. Taking some from a female, what? How much more time are you going to give me?
Right.
And I thought about that. But if they could do it, I said, then it has to be a way.
Right. What was the pay back then? Starting pay to be a CO on Rikers?
I remember it was $27,000, bro.
Right. So even in '97 in New York City, you're not living in the projects, but it's not great.
Yeah. I was still living in the projects.
Yeah, you were. Okay.
But see, the thing is, with all these city and state jobs, it's not the base pay, it's the overtime that makes it what it is.
Worth it, right.
So I started in like June or July. And no, I started in June. By the time December came, because I was a rookie and I kept on having to do overtime, I made like 50 grand.
Just in overtime?
Just, because I never could go home.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was hungry, I was thirsty, so it was like I hated the overtime.
Yeah.
And that's what made it. So I never really just saw $27,000.
Right. Okay. So it's a good, working class wage.
Yes.
Today's episode is sponsored by PrizePicks. PrizePicks is the largest daily fantasy sports platform in North America. It's the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. It's just you against the numbers. You're not playing against sharks and Vegas experts. It's perfect for guys like me, the lay sports person. I'm not a huge sports fan, but PrizePicks has made watching the game so much more interesting for me, of course, because you got skin in it, and it's a great way to make a lot of money very quickly. It's so simple and easy to play that even a casual fan can have fun. I have no idea why I waited so long. With the basketball season here, you can now pick combo projections across football and basketball from the Specials League, a league created specifically for combo projections that includes 2 or more players from different sports or leagues. For example, LeBron James plus Travis Kelce at a 10.5 combo of 3-pointers made plus receptions. Want to play alongside some of PrizePicks' favorite players like rapper Meek Mill and comedian Andrew Schultz? We know Schultz. You can now find community plays under the promos tab of the app to view entries from some of the biggest names in the PrizePicks communities each week. PrizePick even offers a reboot policy so that your entries stay in play even if one of your players gets injured. For football and basketball games, if you have a player who exits the game in the first half and does not return in the second, that player is rebooted. PrizePicks is the only daily fantasy sports platform with an injury insurance policy. Nobody else is offering that, you guys. Right now, go to prizepicks.com/connect and use code CONNECT, that's CONNECT, for a first deposit match up to $100. You guys, just for getting in the game, PrizePicks is going to match you $100. Why not? Why wouldn't you make some extra money during the holiday season? It's a great way to come up while enjoying the sports that much more. Again, that's prizepicks.com with the promo code CONNECT and get matched up to $100. PrizePicks, daily fantasy sports made easy. What was that first couple of months like? Like, do you remember a time? Do you remember the first time where you crossed over when you went from like nice guy Gary, which you are, to having to, go to the dark side?
Yeah. Well, okay, there's 2 different dark sides. It's dark side like, okay, now I'm really going to be a CO. And I'm really going to put foot to ass and be that guy. Mm-hmm. Then there's the dark side when I said, I'm going to start selling drugs.
Yeah, tell me about the tough guy CO first. When did you have to pound somebody out?
Yes, and the first time I pound somebody out was my best friend. It was a guy who lived in, me and his mother, not me and my mother and his mother went to church together every Sunday.
Wow.
And
from the Polo grounds.
Yes. Holy. And it was weird because I'm just gonna say this. Rikers Island is notoriously known for all the vile, crazy stuff that go on there. But if you're in there, sometimes it's far and few between. There's 9 jails on Rikers Island. So something could pop off in jail number 1, you work in jail number 6.
Right.
Nothing didn't pop off in jail number 6 in about 6 months.
Yeah.
But the news and the media and the people here, Rikers Island, something happened.
Right.
All the time. So I'm sitting there being a big guy, and it's called the alarm. You're sitting there in the lounge, eating your food, alarm sounds. Everybody that's eating the food are the ones that got to be the Orange Crush, the ESU team, to go down to save the correction officer that's in trouble.
Oh, right.
So the first time the alarm went off, right, the very first alarm, by the time I got down there, it really wasn't nothing. My adrenaline was running. It really wasn't nothing. So I really didn't see no action. And people who are war heroes, now I'm not going to say war heroes, but veterans who used to whipping inmates' asses and all that stuff, they would make jokes about people, you ain't pop your cherry, you ain't,
Right.
So now the first time I got to do something, like to try to prove myself, it was because another friend of mine came to jail. And
what was he in there for?
He's a, what is it called? Recidivism, when they keep coming back and forth.
Yeah, a parole violation or
Yes.
something? Okay.
And
he was a drug dealer?
no, he was just like petty theft. He had jailed down to a pack where in the wintertime he'll commit a crime.
Oh, wow.
Go there for the winter.
Oh, okay.
And come out in the summertime.
Oh, damn. So he was like a junkie probably or something. Okay.
So, but me being from the hood, his sister had a fat ass. So I was smashing his sister. So he asked me to bring him a pack of cigarettes, which at the time I didn't think was nothing wrong because COs are smoking and they sold cigarettes in commissary, but he was just a bum. He didn't have no money to go to commissary. So I got the cigarettes from his sister, gave it to him. Come to find out, she had it laced with weed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And you played me.
Yeah.
So I vowed I'm never gonna get played again. Now I'm full-fledged CO mode.
Yep.
So now the alarm goes off. So I'm going down there, huffing and puffing. So as I get down there, like even inmates have this male bravado thing about females. Meaning, if you jump up and beat up a female officer, as a man, you still low and a piece of
exactly.
Right? So as we running down to the area, we see a female wrestling with an inmate, and she got his hoodie pulled over his head. So you know, oh no, I know he's not fighting a female.
Yeah.
So we get down there, I get down there first, and we give him, we pounding, and I'm doing, I'm getting my hits in, and people are seeing me, in action for once.
You give him a stomp?
Yes.
Kick him and all that?
Right. And then she finally let his hoodie off. And I looked at her nose was bleeding.
Yeah.
So he's going to the hospital. Mandatory. You have to send him to the hospital to send a message to the other inmates. You put your hands first you put your hands on an officer. Yeah. But if you put your hands on a female, you definitely going to get it.
Okay.
Mandatory.
So you look at each other and you say, all right, now it's time to like really put in work. We're sending this guy out on a gurney.
Well, once you see the female fighting with that's it. Like other inmates know. Basically, that female spit in your face, you better chalk it up. So you would pound guys out until you had to carry them out on a stretcher. It wasn't just me per se. No, but that happens. Yes. They beat people down until they have to go to the hospital. Yeah, I've seen inmates hogtied and stuff because they hit COs, and because you got to realize, I still want to live, inmate or not. I just can't sit there and let you beat me up, And some people's their mindset, their state of mind is, listen, bro, you put your pants on just like I put my pants on, badge or no badge. I'm not gonna just let you do what you want to do with me. So I'll take the ass whipping, And so when you see certain things, some things is not taught in the academy, but it's an unwritten rule. Some officers had it where if you fight in the housing area, everybody getting their ass beat. Wow. Yes. Who's beating their ass though? There's so many of them and only a few of you. See, I never knew how, because at the same time, as a correction officer, I had to watch 100 inmates. Right. And you walking in there with, on A side and B side, 50 inmates here, 50 inmates there, so they can beat your ass anytime. And here's the thing, me and you boys, I'm your partner. You're called the A officer, which you you open the cells, you fill out all the law books. I'm the B officer. I'm the one walking in there, looking in the cells, making sure nobody's making sure nobody's hanging themselves up, and making sure order is going on. But the thing about you, me and you super cool. You got my back. If something pop off, I got to hold my own. You might want to have my back, but you can't come in there and help me. You got to watch me get my ass beat. Why? Because you have the keys. Okay, right. And if you run in there, now they got me and you, bro, because guess what? It's still 100 inmates. It's still 50 inmates. And now it's a hostage situation. They got the keys, and now they're running. Now they can get out. Yeah, right. Did you ever see that happen? Yes. Did you have to watch a partner get beat down or somebody else's partner get beat down? I'm going to be honest with you. I did dumb. I ran in there with the keys because you got a certain, who's really gonna pop off, because you got some inmates like, listen, I ain't got nothing to do with that. You know what I'm saying? Let me just do my time. They wilding, I'm over here. Yeah. So officers break that law all the time and run in there with the keys. Yeah. No, okay, but you didn't tell us what happened with your best friend, beating your best friend. Okay, what happened was she was wrestling with him. So while we got there, we pounded him out. He still got the hoodie pulled over his head. So I get my blows in till I'm tired. And the rest of the people come in and they still finishing pounding and stuff like that. So does everybody take, all the officers get to put in work if they want? Sometimes it'd be so many that everybody can't get in there. Right. But you have to at least let them know that I'm willing to stand with you, brother officer. Wow. Against the inmates, because we're outnumbered. Yeah, but it's like a gang. Like, hey, you better get in here. Give them at least a few kicks. Guess what? If you don't, they're going to ostracize you.
Wow.
That pressure is there.
Wow.
That pressure is
so
there.
next time when you really need them, they might not have your back.
You know what? I've never seen them really just let an officer get his ass beat.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I've seen some people think about it, you know, because it was a lot of, I really don't like you because you're having sex with the female officer that I want.
Yeah.
So we're really enemies, but at the same time, when it came to going against the inmates, it's like we had to stand together whether I like you or not, because guess what? I may need you. They may be whipping my behind, and I really don't need you to be in your feelings about some chick I'm banging.
Yeah.
And not help me or not call for backup or something like that. Right. So now the hoodie comes off, and I see him, and I'm like, I'm stuck. It's my best friend, and he's trying to defend himself and cover himself, and then he sees me. And when he sees me, he just stopped fighting. And he's looking at me. And they're pounding him, and he's looking right at me. Like our eyes locked, and he never stopped looking at me.
Oh my God.
And they going in, and once they saw that he wasn't resisting no more, they put him in the flex cuffs and everything, and he never stopped looking at me until they took him away.
Wow.
And I'm sitting here like, what the freak did I just do? You know, people pat me on my back. Yeah, you know, attaboy, you put in that work, you broke your cherry, you're really one of us now. And I'm like, if word get back to the hood that I did this to him, you know, I don't know how. Because I still was living in the hood. I've yet to go get my own place. And
so you were going back to the Polo grounds every night after work?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. And one time, just like clockwork, I'm going in the building I live in, and I'm going to check the mail, and his mom come up behind me and give me a hug. And I'm like, how you doing? I'm just gonna say Miss Jones. And she's like, yeah, your best friend, he's back over there, and I'm sending him commissary. If you see him, you know, I know you'll take care of him, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm sitting here like he is on his way he's in the hospital. Yes. And that was, see, that's one of the things in the academy. They tell you, coming from your neighborhood, you're going to see people.
Right.
You're going to see people that you know. Like, oh, that's where you're at. That's
what was he in there for?
Like I said.
Petty larceny and stuff like that.
He was on drugs.
Yeah.
But growing up with him, you grow up to a certain age.
Yeah.
Like I remember he saved my behind. I had bought when Nikes first came out, I bought a brand new pair of Nikes. That was getting jumped by a gang called the Ball Busters. It was a Hispanic gang up on Broadway. And they were trying to take my sneakers. And he came and helped me fight them off.
Right.
And we ran. But they didn't get my sneakers because he came and helped me.
And because you had those new sneakers on. Run fast.
And so that's why I knew what he felt.
Right.
That's why I knew what he felt.
So did you feel some kind of way then?
I felt up.
Yeah.
I felt up, but at the same time, had I not, like, even if I saw him and knew it was him, it was like I was obligated to still put the beats on him.
Yeah.
And see, that's a battle with a lot of officers coming from the same neighborhood that the criminals come from.
Right. Now, are you obligated technically to go tell the administration if you know somebody in there?
Oh, yeah. That's definitely.
Now, did you do that with him?
Well, he never came back for a while after that.
Right. He was in the hospital. He spent the winter in ICU.
And then, but me and him had beef for a long time. He tried to kill me a couple of times.
Over that?
Yes.
And he tried to kill you?
He shot at me. I shot at him. Wow. This went on for a while.
Okay.
You know.
So you would see him on the street and you busted at him?
No. This is what happened. I'm minding my business. And all of a sudden, ping, ping, rounds will be hitting the wall in the car. And then because I have a gun because I'm a correction officer. Right. And I shoot in the direction that it's coming from. And the only time I found out it was him, because he was a bum. I'm not gonna say he was a bum, but he wore the same hoodie all the time. And I saw the hoodie, him running away, and I knew it was him. So it was on.
Wow.
It was on.
Wow. And that was over that incident?
Of course,
right.
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
How often did you see people that you knew from the neighborhood at Rikers?
Every day. And they're going to let you know. They're going to let you know.
And was it ever love? Did you ever like to get excited to see people?
They teach you in the academy. There's the hood rules and it's the academy.
Because black folk love to.
Yes. But it's like this. If me and you super cool,
yeah,
and I know you're doing this, this is your job.
Yeah.
I should date your sister.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Certain people would know not to
make it obvious.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then those are ones that will really get treated good. And if I was going to bring something in for you because you didn't blow it up.
Right.
Then there are certain people who are in survival mode in jail and going to let all of his other cronies know, I know Bob and his dad, he ain't all that and call you by your middle name or your street name and this and that just to get props from the other inmates.
Right. And to kind of embarrass you too.
Definitely. So that's when you got to make an example out of them.
Wow. Did you have to do that?
I did it a few times.
Tell mother?
Yes. In front of everybody, listen, in here, I'm Officer Heyward.
Yeah.
Like I said, I didn't walk into the jail just criminal-minded. Like, I'm just going to do all this stuff. My job was my number one priority when I first got on the job. I was going to be a correctional officer. I was happy. I'm going to be able to get my own place, be a grown man and take care of my kids and stuff. So anything that got in the way of that, I did my job.
Yeah. So it's 1997. You're growing into the gig. I just kind of want to paint a picture for people that don't know Rikers. What was it like? Now, Rikers Island is a city jail, and it houses how many inmates, roughly, at any given time?
Some jails got like 2,500 inmates in one jail, and you got 9 jails.
That's cool. So you had maybe 15, 20,000 inmates?
Yes.
Wow.
Easy.
And how many corrections officers?
Well, I'm going to put it this way. In some dorm areas, like I said, you got 100 inmates. You got 2 correction officers.
It's wild.
That watch 100 inmates.
Yeah. And people are in there. Are they serving? A lot of people are in there awaiting trial.
Yeah, most of them are. You got one building called CIFM, C76. Those for people who got a year and under.
Right. And those are people serving what we call county bids, right? So under
they're not
a year,
going upstate.
They're not getting penitentiary bids. No. Right. So did you find that those were the wilder places? Because people that are fighting their cases, if I got a murder beef, I got real problems. Yes. I don't have time to be gang banging and slashing. So is that correct?
Yes. I started in what they call the community center. And those are for people who got a year and under.
Okay.
So, but let's not put nothing past them because the first 4 months on the job, an inmate pulled a gun out in the jail and shot another inmate in that community center. Yes.
I've been doing this podcast a long time.
Yes.
And this is the first time that my mouth is agape. I'm speechless. What did you just... An inmate had a gun?
Yes.
That's some third world... You see that in prisons in like Ecuador.
No, I'm gonna tell you the story. Like I said, I'm CO, Heyward, doing my job. And of course, inmates try to prove themselves to other inmates and they talk stuff. But we all know you're in the community center. You're not... okay, jail is jail, but you're not really doing no real time. You're doing about 6-8 months. Come on, tough Tony.
Yeah, you're not hard rock.
So I get into it with a guy, and I tell him, listen, I'm going to lunch. When I come back, I'm going to take this badge off. Me and you going to go in the bathroom. I'm going to f you up, right?
Yeah.
Right? And I had every intention.
Yeah.
Because he was talking cash. So I go to lunch. And while I'm sitting there and I'm telling my boy when I get back, so my boy's like, bet I'll come with you. The alarm goes off. So I was like, so we got to put on the protective gear and everything and go to where the alarm is.
Right.
Well, the alarm is in the housing area I'm working in. I just left this area. So when we get there, you ever seen the cartoon where everybody's running down there and the first guy stops and everybody bumps into him?
Right, yeah.
So we get to the housing area and the female officer opens the door and she says, she said, gunshots. I heard it was a gunshot. And the other inmates were on the bars wanting to get out of the area because they heard the gun, right? Now, those vests are stab-proof vests. They're not bulletproof vests.
Right.
So we're like, listen, I'm not going in there. You going in there? So the captain's like, we got to go in there, right? So I'm like, maybe it's just something loud she heard. It couldn't be no gunshot. So basically, one by one, we let the inmates out, pat them down.
Yeah.
Damn near strip search them. Put them on the floor, handcuffed them.
Yeah.
One by one. We got all of them out. So then now, none of these guys got a gun on them. So we go inside now, and we see an inmate laying on a bed with a gunshot wound to his thigh. And he says, somebody shot me. And right then and there, I think I had like 4, maybe 5 months on the job. Right then and there, I'm like, I know I'm not seeing what I'm seeing. And yeah, he's there. Medical team come. Really, not a stab wound, not a self-inflicted. It was a gunshot.
Wow.
So now,
where's the gun?
Everybody's there, tearing the whole ceiling, wall, and everything. So we move a locker, and there's a small P380 gun.
Wow. And are those the ones that only hold like
about 6 bullets, or maybe something like 4 at the time? And I'm like, a gun.
Yeah.
Like I wrote this in a book. That was the first shocker. Because, you know, when you come from the academy, you're really academy trained that everybody's upholding the law. Nobody's going to be doing that. But see, in the academy now, in hindsight, when I look back, the instructor was like, listen, they said, don't, if you give them a stick of bubble gum, you'll bring them in a gun. If you give them a cigarette, you'll do this and that. So they kept on beating you down in your head. And I was like, well, why do they keep on, like, who would do that? Like, you're thinking, who would bring in contraband?
Yeah.
But the instructors know it. They probably been there. It happens. We know it happens. So we try to, y'all don't know it happens. We know it happens all the time.
So they get this guy out of there. Yeah. The medical team gets this guy out of there.
Yeah, and then we search.
Find the gun.
Now, I'm going to tell you the insight, because we found the gun. Of course, is inmates' fingerprints on it. And when they do the big investigation, what it is, okay, we know somebody smuggled the gun. What it was these inmates were trustees that would go outside. Like Rikers Island has a parking lot for visitors, and you go and you try to sign to go visit who you're going to visit, and then there's a bridge that goes over. These trustees were the one to clean the parking lot out there. So if you're a trustee, somebody dropped them that gun, and an officer dropped the ball and didn't search him because they probably been there for so long.
Right. Yeah, and they've earned some trust.
And he got the gun in there. What I found out later on, what was found out was the inmates smuggled the gun in and shot the inmate. It was all planned to get a major lawsuit from the city. Like, how you let me, because the correction officer creed is care, custody, and control.
Right.
How did you let, how did a gun get inside Rikers Island?
Yeah.
A gun. Yeah. So me and all my New Jack buddies is like, we shocked. But the senior officers, because they seen stuff before.
Right.
So now my gears is grinding like, yo.
What's happening?
Like
who can I trust?
And guess what? And guess who was the inmate who shot him? The inmate I said, I'm going to come back and bust your ass. And I'm sitting there. He had a gun on him, and I'm talking about taking you in the bathroom and putting the beats on you. He had the gun.
Imagine that.
And he popped him. Wow. Now, what I found out on the back end was, now, I'm not saying she did anything, but I found out there was a certain female that he was her baby daddy.
Wow.
That don't mean nothing.
Did she ever get arrested?
No.
They couldn't prove
No,
that
that was
she was
underground CO
involved in it.
talk.
Okay, gotcha.
You know.
So look, it turns out that a CO didn't smuggle in a gun, but as we know, and I'm going to talk about that now, stabbings, shankings, slashings are normal on Rikers. They call it a $150.
Yes.
Tell us what a $150 is.
A $150 is when an inmate takes out a razor blade, preferably spit it out his mouth.
Yeah.
And he cuts another inmate on the side of his face.
Right.
And it goes from his chin all the way to his ear.
Oof.
And I've seen instances where you could see an inmate's teeth.
Oh.
And the way it's according to how fine the blade is, they don't immediately open up.
Yeah. It's a slow split.
Yes. And then especially if you get to talking. That's why sometimes they come and if you get to the clinic soon enough, they'll try to forget a Band-Aid, they probably try to put some tape on there to keep it together.
Right.
But eventually it spreads, and then that's when you get that keloid, that
And they call it a $150 because they say it's like 150
stitches.
Yeah.
You get to sew that thing up.
Is there a protocol when somebody gets stabbed? Well, first of all, tell me how a razor like that. I know obviously, inmates make shanks with, whittled down toothbrushes. You can make a shank with a piece of paper. There's many, many ways.
Yes.
But how does somebody get in, a razor like that? Are knives brought in by COs?
A lot of stuff is brought in by COs.
You can be candid.
Listen, of course it is.
So what is the incentive for a CO to bring in a razor for somebody?
Now, I'm going to tell you like this. Once I was in full-blown drug dealer mode as a CO, my mentality is just like the streets. If I own a block, if I'm running drugs on a block, I don't want nobody getting shot or anything, fighting, doing, because you bring the cops, you stop my money.
It gets hot, yeah.
So I never brung in no weapons. Now, that don't mean that they didn't jump people and do fisticuffs. So I don't know why, just like, why would a CO bring somebody a gun in? And I learned after I went to prison, and this is why I be saying the stuff that I'm saying now, I bring a gun in, and like I said, I'm telling this guy, I'm going to f you up. He got a gun. Whoever brung him that gun, forget the inmate, let me really at this, pop them and start beating his ass. That could have been me, right? So some females, when they're in love, they I'm not gonna blame it on all female correction officers, but I don't know why a CO would bring in a weapon, scaffolds.
What is that?
A scaffold, like a
scalpel.
surgeon.
I'm sorry. Yeah, you get the New York accent.
Yes, that's scalpel.
Yeah, you get the Harlem accent.
Yes.
Yeah, scalpel. Okay,
scalpel. And
is it gang beef?
Definitely.
Do people pay? Would you I pay a guard maybe if I was like the leader of whatever the Trinitarios?
You could pay
or whoever.
You could pay to get a guard to bring in. That's not new news.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
but I'm especially curious, who is what I guess would be the most. What's the unit or the jail on Rikers that tends to have the most slashings and stabbings? And what is that over generally? Is it gang beef or is it just because people are criminals?
A lot of times it's gang beef, right? But at the same time, it could be just survival. Right. I'm not gonna let you take my sneakers. I'm not gonna let you take my stuff. Or over the telephone.
Oh yes, tell us about this.
Over the telephone. The telephone, you gotta realize, mail, visits, and the telephone is my eyes to what I'm not seeing. If I got slot time and you come in and you want to get on the phone or you on the phone over the time allowed it, I need to get my shit off. I need to talk to my woman. I need to talk to my homie to know what's going on out there. Right? And that becomes a part of my life.
Right.
My time is 8 o'clock. What are you doing?
Yeah.
And
to take that away from a person causes somebody to get incredibly angry.
Yes.
Right.
That phone can get you killed.
Right.
In Rikers Island. Like I said, one of the most dominant things that a person can do is come in a housing area, take the phone off the receiver, put it in his back pocket, throw a blade or a homemade shank in the middle of the floor and tell everybody in there I'm in cell number 18. That means that if nobody comes challenge me, that phone is mine.
Wow.
Now, whoever used that phone got to pay me to use the phone, got to get my permission to use the phone, got to give me commissary to use the phone, or we fighting.
Holy. With razors.
With razors or whatever.
Holy.
And sometimes some people pick up that blade, because if I got to talk to my wife, if I got to talk to my kid, if I got to talk to, listen, my 2-year bid would turn into 20 over that phone.
Wow. So what would, I'm curious about that. What does a bid become when you see people that get rearrested? Say I'm in there I got a dope case, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I go in there and I got to defend myself with an ox and I stab somebody. Like,
it's just like going to trial. Was it self-defense?
Right.
Did he try to you?
Right.
Then first, how'd you get the weapon? We don't care about you.
Right.
So now you was harboring a weapon. First charge.
Right.
Then they change your ID to a red ID because you're a predicate cutter. Like you're known
interesting.
Now.
So if you get caught slashing somebody,
yes, you got a red ID.
Mark you. Oh.
So that means that now we know, okay, because you ever heard that saying, everybody got a gun, ain't shooting it?
Mm-hmm.
Like some people just bluff you a lot.
Yeah.
The red ID means that he will open your face up. Wow. He will pick up a weapon and he has assaulted an officer.
Right.
So he's one of them, like, I don't give a shit about none of this.
Right. So did you remember officers getting slashed?
Yes.
Did that ever happen?
Yes.
Oof.
Officers got slashed, going to hospital, face cuts.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
I imagine they must, if you slash an officer, you're getting pounded out.
Oh, you're getting pounded out. You're getting extra time.
Yeah.
On your bid and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's certain things that you're going to the hospital. That's mandatory. That they didn't say it in the academy, but you have to set precedents. Just like I told you in intake. I'm sitting there, gentlemen, could you be quiet? And then a CO comes smack one, pow.
Yeah.
Everybody's quiet.
Yeah.
Now I got your attention. Am I supposed to put my hands on you? No. Do I got your attention? Yes. Right. So now you assault a female, go to the hospital. You got to send a message. Some officers want peace and quiet in their dorm or the area that they're working, so they are known for putting the beats on people who don't have nothing to do with the altercation. They over there fighting over a pack of noodles, right? The squad comes in, everybody getting smacked, stomped, and beaten, this, and that, because we know we don't want no fighting in here. So guess what's going to happen? The next time somebody's squabbling over a pack of noodles, I really don't feel like being locked in. I got to get on the phone to talk to my wife. So we're going to handle it
internally.
Listen, here, take a pack of noodles.
Right.
Or I'm going to f you up if you mother get to fighting.
Right.
And I get locked in.
Ah, that makes sense.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the...
When would they send... So tell us about the squad. Like the goon squad with the riot gear.
Okay.
Like when is that deployed? That
deploys every time a correction officer they got a body alarm.
The body alarm, okay.
And if I'm in distress, I got a problem, I'm getting assaulted, they tell you in the academy, you better do the cockroach and be on your back and be fighting, but press that alarm. Like you always got to have that body alarm on you. That's your lifesaver.
Right.
So you always got to have that body alarm on you. You press that and it's in, it rings the alarm. Yep. And any available officer.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have nothing but females.
Oh, God.
That's coming to save your ass.
Can you imagine that? You're like, oh, Jesus, what did I do to deserve this?
And so that's the method of isolation. Don't run on the floor to save me.
Yeah.
Because who's going to let the squad in to really save us if me and you both are getting our ass beat?
Right. Right. So is the riot squad or the squad, are they a separate just arm of the COs?
So, okay, you have something called ESU, Emergency Service Unit. Those are officers that train every day, tactical, do all kind of whatever, and their job is to come to the jails that are out of control, rioting, blah, 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 and maintain order. So they're specifically trained. Now, in the immediate event that we need people to come right now, immediately, Those are just officers in the jail that's available. It could be me. I'm in party all night and I'm drunk sitting there trying to sleep, and now you need me to come help you fight somebody from beating your ass.
Yeah.
So
but would those tactical teams, would there ever be like raids on cells planned out?
Yes. When I was in full swing of being who I was, I would get calls from people in security. Listen, they're coming to you. It's called a TSO, Tactical Search Operation. And they say, okay, in this jail, we've been finding drugs a lot, or we've been finding a lot of weapons, or they've been fighting a lot over here, or we got a stabbing or a cutting.
Yeah.
So when that happens, then they get officers from all the jails, like you in jail number 1, 2 through 9, we gather officers to come, and then we search the whole jail and beat up, smack up inmates and tear up their cells and all kind of stuff, trying to find weapons and all that stuff, just sending a message through. Now, if they hear a particular housing area, this is how I know I was going to get caught, because...
Okay. But save it, though, because this is a big climax.
Okay, so they will come to your housing area, not the front way, but the back way, because you're used to coming to the front way. You the only one got the key. You buzz them in, you let them in, boom, they come in, they search the inmates.
Yeah.
So I will get a call that, they're coming to your area. And not so much they're calling me to notify me, hide your drugs and stuff. Like, don't be sleeping and don't be doing something that you're not supposed to be doing.
Right.
So be on point.
Right.
Because they're coming to search your area. So I'll tell my officer, listen, they're coming.
Right.
Like that. To my officer, not the inmate, and then he'll be on point like he's really doing his job, and then they'll come in there and they'll search.
Exactly. You just don't want to get in trouble for slacking off.
Yes. Me, I took it as, let me take my drugs and hide it in the ceiling in the officer station.
Right. Okay. So when you were there, late 90s, what kind of drugs? I know now fentanyl, dude, like every week somebody at Rikers is ODing on fentanyl. What were the drugs back then? In the late 90s, the most common ones on Rikers.
It wasn't weed, because weed has a distinctive smell, right? It was crack, it was coke, it was heroin.
Yeah,
they were I could mail somebody a letter, put heroin in the stamp.
Yep.
And they'll get high off of that.
Yeah. How do you smoke crack in jail?
They make their own pipes.
They're ingenious.
They'll make their pipes, and they'll get their shit off.
Yeah.
And they'll be high as a kite. And you, like me being from the hood, I know what crack smells like.
Right.
Walking in the exit, walking in the building, walking in the lobby. And you'll smell it, and then you go down there, and now, because it's like, okay, I know I'm going to get busted, but I'm going to get high before they catch me.
Right. And what if you catch a crackhead smoking?
It's really nothing you could do, especially give him more charges.
Right. No.
And then if he smoked it all, what evidence do you have?
Right.
But I just know you're high.
Right.
So it was throw them up in the cell, lock them in his cell.
Right. Were there any ODs back then? Like on heroin?
Couple of them.
Yeah.
And see, all this, like after the gun shot in there, that I knew it was on. Somebody's doing something. Right. So heroin, this and that. Some of it comes through the visit floor, but it's like you start to learn how to read the jail. Monday and Tuesday on Rikers Island wasn't no visits, right? So how is it this? You still got somebody blessing you.
Yeah,
you just ain't holding all your stuff that was smuggled in from the visit.
Right.
So these are the things that I learned.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
To watch out for.
So here we go. You are, now seeing the realities of what it is, what this jail is, what the job is, what the life is. How did you get, well, before we get into your story, did you see any corrupt guards, your coworkers, before you got into it? Did you see anybody get arrested before you got into it? Or what was your introduction to it?
First of all, in the academy, don't bring nothing in. Don't give them a stick of bubble gum.
All right.
Don't talk to them too long because they just picking your brain, right? So I had seen what was called senior officers. That means officers that have been in the jail years, 10 years and all that stuff. They would have special inmates, and I would see them in the morning, a breakfast sandwich, slice of pizza, accidentally throw it in the garbage that you know the inmate is cleaning, and I see the inmate go get it, and like you take out the garbage, and listen, I saw it, but and at the time, if that's what you want to do,
right?
Hey, that's on you. So that was my first sign that I saw somebody do something like that.
Yeah, getting friendly.
Yes,
getting friendly. Right
now, Mayor Giuliani, I think, stopped cigarettes in all city buildings.
What year was that? Like late 90s, 2000 maybe?
Yes. About something like 2000, 2001. What it was is he did that in for the city itself.
Yeah.
Like you could be a secretary in a city building, you can't smoke.
You can't smoke.
Jail is a city-owned establishment. So no more cigarettes in the commissary.
So
when there's no more cigarettes in the commissary, it's
money
a hot
being made.
commodity.
That's right.
Now, I can't go to jail because cigarettes aren't a drug in the street. Officers are still smoking cigarettes.
Yeah.
So, like I said, my buddy, I bought him a thing of cigarettes. It was laced with weed and like that.
Yeah.
So when I saw the dude with the pizza and stuff like that, and then it's certain inmates that have certain personas about them. And it was a certain inmate, I remember his name. His name was Divine. I'm not gonna call another man Divine. But so he had literally in his cell silk sheets in his cell. He walked around with gator shoes on. Because you gotta remember, in Rikers Island, you're going to see if you go to jail. You're going back and forth to court. So you're wearing regular clothes.
They don't make you wear like
green. That's only if you doing the a year and under. Then you'll wear
the county bid, the county stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, county blues.
Otherwise than that, you wearing your regular stuff. That's why people get their sneakers took and all kind of stuff.
That's crazy.
Yes.
That's spoiled.
Yeah, whatever you got arrested in, that's what you wearing until your family send you a tracksuit or...
Dog, I had to fight in sandals, in plastic sandals they gave me, bro. What?
Yes.
That's wild.
Yeah, so you got your... And if you had...
So you could be fly in there.
Yes.
You could be walking around fly for a year,
And the flyer
bro.
you are, the more hierarchy in the, on the gang, because how is you walking around with gold chains on and gold teeth and Jordans and nobody's trying you?
Right.
You know?
Right.
So this guy named Divine had all this stuff in his cell, always had commissary, always was smooth and quiet. And a female CO will always come get him and take him on strolls through the jail, you know, and bring him back. And nobody said, what are you doing? Who's that? And it was like known. But I'm the new guy just watching, keeping my mouth shut because it's odd to me. But I know I'm from the street. I know you got to be somebody if the officers, and it's not even like she's risking her job because it seemed like other officers, hey, Devon, hey, how you doing?
Wow, so this cat had the juice.
Yes. He was a pimp.
Sounds like it.
He dressed like a pimp. But that was my first signs of like when you're really getting to know the job to know what's corrupt and what's allowed and what's not allowed. Come on, you're giving them pizza. They're getting cigarettes. And this guy's getting carte blanche, being walked through the whole thing, and then his cell stay open. Nobody goes in there to steal nothing.
Yeah.
So you know,
right. Fascinating. Who knows what was going on with that, huh? So, but now that cigarettes are illegal, do you start to see your coworkers making money, bringing it in? Did you see the trade develop?
I saw one guy. He was a dumbass. All right. I'm not gonna call him. He's cool. I saw one guy get in trouble. I just call him a dumbass because the way he did it. Now, in hindsight of how me becoming who I became, I did my dirt by myself. Right? I didn't want to include nobody. I didn't trust nobody. It's not like, yo, you gonna get in on this with me?
Right.
It's never like that, right? So he did something dumb, like take some cigarettes, throw them in a garbage can, right? Like the guy with the pizza, but you did it with officers who like wasn't with it.
Yeah.
Like, why would you come in my area and throw something in the garbage can?
Right.
And then a dumb inmate was wilding, going crazy, trying to get out of his cell to get to that garbage can. So he blew up the whole situation where the officer's like, well, what's in the garbage can? Then when they go and they see cigarettes and they remember the dumb guy.
Yeah. Did he get in trouble for that?
Yes, he lost his job.
Okay, so that's what would happen if you got caught bringing in cigarettes. You'd lose your job.
Yes.
But they wouldn't charge you.
No.
Okay, because I know in the feds, they do, I mean, it's real small time, but they're charging COs now.
Now, because at the time, it happened, but it wasn't rampant.
Right. So how did you get into doing what you did?
What happened with me was I was going through a divorce.
How many years on the job now are you?
I think I had like 2 years.
Okay. So you stayed clean for about 2 years?
Yes.
Okay.
For the most part.
Okay.
So I was going through divorce and I got hit with child support. My check was shredded. Right? I was losing everything. Car getting repoed. At the time, I had got me a place, had to move back with mom. You know, of course, whoever goes to child support, they already know how these judges can be at that time about child support. So I was desperate. Now, mind you, I've been propositioned already. Yo, Heyward, yo, come on, this, that. And, you know, me being the upstanding.
Yeah.
I'm not jeopardizing my job.
Yeah.
You know, and when Mayor Giuliani stopped cigarettes from being in the jail, it opened up a whole market. Like Tops Tobacco at the time was $2 for a pouch.
Yeah.
I would charge an inmate $300
right.
for a pouch.
Right.
Now, you might think that's kind of extensive, but nobody's smoking. So if you take one little rollie that you made from Tops Tobacco and sell it for like $20, you're eating in commissary like forever with $20.
That's right.
And a person who got that nicotine, he's smoking. He's going to take a couple of puffs and put that out. Yeah. Take a couple of puffs and put that out. Yeah. So that's life. That's everything to them.
That's right.
So they're beg, borrow, and steal to get you that money. Have their wives, their family member put money in your commissary for one of those rollies.
Right.
So me, I'm not going to sell no rollie. I'm getting a quick flip.
Of course.
Give me $2 pouch. You give me $300.
Who was the first guy? Who were the first groups of guys or guy you were working with?
There was one guy I was working with because I knew his family. Like, listen, it's not like you're going to get resumes and say, you know,
obviously.
Choose. So it was somebody I knew from the street.
From the neighborhood?
From the neighborhood, and he had short time.
Yeah.
Right? But his family wasn't looking out for him. So I was desperate because of child support, right? I was nervous. I was afraid. I didn't want to lose my job, but I had to do something.
And he's desperate too.
Yes. So the first thing I did was bring in like 2-3 packs of tobacco. Gave it to him. That was $900.
$900 just like that.
Right?
Cost you $6.
I'm nervous. I'm afraid because, let me explain something. Before I really went to the dark side, I still really wanted to do good. But at the same time, survival, self-preservation, and the opportunities, they've been there. I just never took them up on it.
Yeah.
And when I did it the first time, sweaty palms, dripping sweat, because guess what? People knew I didn't smoke. So even seeing me with some cigarettes, right? So I had it in my vest. And when I made the trade-off, I'm sweating. I'm sitting there nervous all day. Like,
hang on, let me stop you. They don't search guards going into work?
Okay. It's that brotherhood in blue. Why would I ever think that you would be doing something like that?
Right.
Even though gang intel and Inspector General, we found pouches, we found this, we found drugs. And so we know it's going on.
Right.
It's just I don't know you doing it. And you don't know I'm doing it.
And it's very awkward. If I got to work with you every day and we're cool, now I got to be like, oh, Gary, I got to search you. That's weird.
So now they never search you, like pat you down.
Right.
But you got to run your bag through the magnometer.
Right.
You got to step through something.
Yeah.
Now, me, once I learned the craft of what I was doing, I wouldn't come in regular clothes. Because, you know, some officers come in regular clothes. You got to check your gun in the armory.
Yeah.
And you got to go put your bag through there and run through there. If you beep, if the officer's really gung-ho, you got to clear it and take your belt off and all kind of stuff. But if you came fully in your uniform, with your belt on, your badge, ready to work, beep, 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 I got it.
Right, of course. So you had the tobacco, you were already in uniform
with the tobacco, and they made it mandatory that you had to wear the staff blue vest. So
even easier. Yeah.
No, and I was a big guy.
Right.
So
and so you met and were there the same amount of cameras back in like 99? No. There were less cameras, it's easier to hand it off. Where do you meet the guy?
Well, in the housing area.
Yeah.
Well, working. I'm the one, because in the morning, I'm there by myself, and I'm not supposed to let the inmates out until my other officer come. Right? So in the morning, I got trustees.
Yeah.
That's my guy. I crack his cell. He goes like he's mopping and stuff. The other inmates will never sleep, so we would go off to the side where I know they can't see, make the transaction.
Yeah.
And once you know there's no cameras.
You know, the blind spots,
it wasn't no cameras.
So, and then how does he get the money? Does he have to sell it first, or does he have somebody on the outside?
Listen,
wire you the
I don't
money?
deliver nothing until I get paid first.
Right. So you already had the money.
I already had the money.
Of course.
I was better than UPS.
Great.
Like I would meet their sister, whoever, this and that, blah, blah, blah. And I would have a crackhead. I would have this family member, Western Union. At the time, it was Western Union. It wasn't this Cash App.
Now it's Venmo. Right.
So I would have Western Union money to a crackhead.
Yeah. I
get a crackhead $10, use your ID, get it, get my $300 or whatever I'm getting, and then the next day I'll just walk in there and give him a pouch. Okay. And then however he get it off, if my rules, if you got caught with it,
that's you.
That's
right.
And come on, they'll break it down to something called fingers and gloves and the jail network.
Ingenious. Yeah. So, and how often then did you start? $900 is love. How often were you starting to do that?
Well,
and how did that turn into drugs?
Okay, at first, I only did it when I really needed to pay a bill, when I really needed something. When that first time went over and nobody jumped out and arrested me, nobody said, aha, I didn't get caught, and the nervousness started going away, and I mastered the art of how to get it in. I was making pretty decent money because let me say something. I was a drunk, meaning I drunk, and then I partied with officers who were at top pay.
Right.
You know, because I wasn't at top pay yet either. So, you know, I started buying the mink coats.
Okay,
stuff.
How much money were you making then? We break down numbers on this show.
Okay. I never knew, I'll be honest, I never knew how much money, because guess what? I could be dead broke. I had a gambling problem. I could go in the gambling spot with like $5,000 to $10,000, lose that. Go to jail the next day. I got about $4 or $5 grand either coming from somewhere, and you'd be amazed because one time, one guy kind of like, he didn't get me in trouble, but however, he got his girl to smuggle him in $1,500, and you know, inmate is not supposed to have cash on him. He going around flashing freaking cash.
Unbelievable.
Like,
unbelievable.
Like, you see, this is why I do what I do right now, because officers ain't learned. It's still going on, and I'm trying to tell you, right then in that moment, the money is good.
Okay, so you're making like mid-level crack dealer money.
Yes, definitely.
From bringing in tobacco to inmates.
Yes.
That's wild.
So
dude.
now that's why
so
when you actually, when did I go to the drugs?
Right.
Is because one of my workers.
Okay, and you call them workers. This is interesting. So how many trustees or workers did you have picking up tobacco from you.
Okay, so here's the thing. Only one guy picked up from me. Allegedly, nobody else knew I was the guy, the connect.
Oh, but you were just giving it, he was the kingpin.
Yes.
And he was breaking off everybody else.
But I knew who he had doing what. Working in the law library, working in the kitchen, on the paint detail.
Yeah.
And so I knew, right? That's why I mentioned Monday and Tuesday I didn't bring nothing.
Right.
Because the jail was dry.
Right. No
Monday,
visiting.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Wednesday's a visit. That's when all the drugs.
Yeah.
That's when whoever could get their girlfriend to be crazy enough to bring something.
Right.
So that's when I hit
That's
my mark.
Right.
So I had a couple of housing areas of guys. I had money coming from all over Western Union. People's inmates, girlfriends, mothers doing favors for me to bring stuff to them. So I was a real piece of you know.
Yeah, and you were kind of an addict too.
Yes, I was a drunk and I was addicted to gambling.
Right.
I loved the gambling since I was like, that's when I first started, because I told you I hung out at the gambling spot since I was like 15, 16, and I went in there one time with $5 and I won $700. You couldn't tell me gambling wasn't the way of the world. you know, you think you're going to win every time, so that high.
Yeah.
So like one time,
I'm curious, I'm sorry, just to cut you off. What kind of gambling spots? Tell us about a gambling spot back then in New York City.
A gambling spot is
like there's Chinese gambling spots, but would you go to the black gambling spots?
Black gambling spots.
Okay, this is fascinating. Tell us about an old school Harlem gambling spot.
You walk into, sometime it'll be a barbershop.
Yeah.
People in there getting their hair cut.
Yeah.
And the back room, only privy people that's known can go in the back room. Now you sit there busy getting a haircut, and people with traffic coming back from this room all day.
Yeah.
People coming in with mink coats.
Right.
And
this
selling
cat's
stuff.
Got
and,
gold ropes on. What is he doing?
And are they selling ass back there?
Yeah.
You know? So when I was privy to be hanging with somebody who was allowed to go back there, that's how I got my card to go back there. So going in there was with somebody.
Right.
And then they smoking weed.
Yeah.
They playing music.
Yeah.
It's like a little social.
It's a
like
social
a
club.
speakeasy.
Yeah.
So, and it could be anywhere.
Wow.
It could be anywhere. I've seen a Chinese restaurant have a gambling spot in the back.
What's the wildest gambling spot you remember? Like with the most money, the most like cast of outlaws.
Oh, please. I was a kid, and at the time, it was a notorious drug kingpin named Alpo.
Yeah, of course.
He got,
everybody knows Alpo.
He was the guy.
Mm-hmm.
I was a kid when I couldn't gamble because the stakes was high. Meaning anybody who gambled, like $10,000 a bet.
Right.
So I was in there like the store runner.
Yeah.
Hey, go get us this. I wasn't even old enough to buy beer, but at the time they didn't. So and I seen like 300,000.
Yeah. In cash laid out on the floor.
Yes.
And are they playing CeeLo?
CeeLo.
That's the 3 dice.
Yes, 3 dice and 4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
And they had these wild bets going on. Like, I'm gonna throw a head crack on this roll this one time, and they be winning.
So if I came in, how do you win $700 on $5?
Okay, these games start. Sometimes they can start from a quarter.
Yeah,
betting 25. I got the bank, you betting 15 cents, 20 cents, and then I put $5 in there, and you betting $1 and this and that, and it goes to $20. So now I got $100 in there. Now we betting $10. Now the game don't grow.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So when I first came there, it was like a bunch of us. It was like 7 of us kids. We all had pocket change, and we'll put it together to make $3 or $4 to make a bet.
Yeah.
So that's how we started doing it.
Wow.
So one day I was there. My mom had gave me like an allowance, like about $15. It wasn't an allowance because I didn't get it all the time. So, and I had $5, and I was bet $2 and $3, and I built that up to $15, and I built it up to like I had $35 from $5, and it kept growing until I was gambling, and I didn't know how much I had. And then they said, "Yo, the cops coming." It wasn't a raid. Sometimes they would bang on the door, so you get to stop everybody, stop loitering there.
Right.
And when I ran out, when I got home and I took all the crippled up money and sat it on my bed, it was like $685.
Wow.
And I'm like, you can't tell me that I'm not going to be gambling.
Can't tell me.
You know, and then I started going back and I would win, I would lose and this and that. And, you know, over a period of time, you're going to lose more than you win.
Of course.
You
That's the disease,
and,
right?
And it's like crack. You chasing that high that you got when you came in there. Because sometimes I would come with $200 and then I won $8,000. It's like you got to catch the nights, and then you start learning. Oh, Johnny's here or Peter's here, and they'll call your phone. Yo, Mac is in, and then you come because you know these are the guys who got money,
right? And so they can match your bets.
Yes,
and they're the degenerates.
Yes.
Wow.
So
does that still? Do they? I think they still have some gambling spots in New York.
Nah, they do. They do have some.
You know, because that's a way to get shot too. You know, that's because when I used to roll dice with like, you know, semi-dangerous people, like I realized I'm like, oh, I'm up $300 I just took from this guy, and he's like, let's go it again. He's trying to win it back. I could just say I quit.
And that's where it gets dangerous.
And that's where it gets dangerous, you know. But so now you're making cake, tens of thousands of dollars a month off your cigarette hustle, and so you could just go blow five G's in a hand
and come back in and get $3 or $4 grand easy.
I'm sorry I took us down that road real quick, because now we're gonna get into the big crescendo. This is a fascinating episode, man. I am so glad you hit me up. We got to send a shout out to Magic Mind. I'm exhausted. I came in from LA. I've been running for the last 3 days.
Okay.
I'm fried. Okay. I've been doing comedy shows and podcasts nonstop. So I take one of these back. It's got nootropics. It's got like 55 milligrams of caffeine. So it's like drinking half a cup of coffee. And I just toss it back and I'm like laser focused. Like I'll be back good to work for hours after this. So if you like it, like if you need this, go check them out. Magic Mind. They're a cool little company out of LA. Hang on. I can't recommend it enough. Caffeine is my drug, bro. Anyway, so you've got your worker, your kingpin, bringing in the tobacco. How does that elevate to drugs?
Because, competition. we still like I'm not the only guy in
bringing in.
Yeah.
Did you know who the other cats were?
I didn't know.
Okay.
I didn't know at first, right? But then one of my workers is like, kind of made a comment like, you small fry. Like, kind of like, I'm going to go work for somebody else. And I'm like, because I'm like, motherfucker, I'm the one that feeds you, motherfucker. Right? So me and him got real tight. He said, yo, you need to step your shit up.
Was he like dropping the prices, the other CEO?
Yeah, no. Why would I pay for tobacco when I can get high?
Yeah.
Right?
I see.
So then my thing is, at the time, once I got wind of that, now, because I'm going to be honest with you, I was a criminal for bringing in cigarettes. You were still bringing in contraband.
Yeah.
But I really didn't feel that I was in jeopardy. Like, what they going to do? It's still cigarettes. The most I'm going to lose my job.
Yeah.
Right? Now you go to jail, but I'm thinking the most I'll lose my job because it's not a drug.
Narcotic. Yeah, it's not illegal.
But at the same time, if I'm making this money with cigarettes, how much money I can make if I bring in coke or something else? Now, here's the thing. You got to be careful because you really don't want people getting high. Like you do. You really don't want people doing things that's noticeable. Right? Because in full swing, I was bringing in Hennessy for somebody's birthday.
Yeah.
A small thing, a Lipton iced tea. What
do you charge for a bottle of Hennessy?
$500.
Easy.
And I would get the airport nip.
Yeah. You didn't even bring them a full bottle.
I'm not doing that.
Not VSOP?
Because, I had to learn. Once you dive into that element, I had to learn the craft. And when I say learn the craft, it's
a hustle.
Yeah. So if I'm going to bring in Hennessy, people's senses, smell and hearing and all that, it's times 10.
Right.
So
because you're so deprived in there, Yeah, you could smell Hennessy from...
They can smell what female officers coming by her perfume. Oh, that's Officer Jasmine.
Yeah.
Right? So if I bring somebody Hennessy in there, you know you're locking in your cell for the whole day.
Right.
Enjoy your birthday.
Right.
But you ain't coming out reeking of nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you better be washing your mouth out with toothpaste in this. No.
Do you run that down to them?
Yes. Yeah. They knew.
And if they stepped out, you find a reason to put the pounded on them, right?
Come on, this is a business now.
Yeah.
You know, so with Coke, everybody can't afford Coke.
Right.
You know, only a select few can get the money up for Coke.
Okay, tell us about the Coke economy in Rikers. How is it sold? Like, say I bring in a balloon, you bring in a balloon of 5 grams. How does that break down? How do they break that down? Just in little hits?
That's it.
Just one snorters.
I don't know how much they charging.
Yeah.
I'm charging at least, the minimum I'm charging is $500 to like $1,500.
For a gram?
For maybe a half ounce of Coke. I'm charging
14 grams. Oh, okay. Yes. That's a lot cheaper than I thought you were going to say.
Yeah, because everybody couldn't afford it. But me getting 2 or 3 people to give me $1,500 in one whop, then now I ain't got to go around the city to your people's house for $500.
Right.
You know,
right.
And that wasn't that often because by choice, I didn't want you skied up because a lot of times people get to fighting. When you get to fighting, alarms get to pull. People come taking you out the area. Drug testing you and stuff like, and then it's like, how did he get Coke? How did he get this high? And it's just like the fentanyl that's going on right now.
Can I stop you really quick though?
Sure.
Just as a former drug dealer, fascinated with the numbers, why is it more worth it to bring in 14 grams of Coke that only a select few people can afford for $1,500 when you could bring in a pack of tobacco for $300, but that's selling out instantly.
Because after trying to almost getting caught a couple of times and trying to stash my stuff in the ceiling.
Yeah.
One time my dumb ass had like 20 pouches on me and the search was in my area. Right?
What's a search?
Search is when they randomly pick areas to search for drugs and weapons.
To bring the dog in.
Yes.
Right.
And they brought the dog in.
Oh.
And I was so happy that all I had was tobacco at the time.
Right.
So I did the Coke thing. Whoever could afford it, I made it affordable because it was quicker for me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then at the same time, I wasn't getting out there. I probably could have got more if I stood out in the street.
Yeah.
And so I'm not doing that.
No, of course.
I'm in here. I'm an officer.
Right.
You don't suspect me.
Right. So you went to Coke because it was way less bulky and you could it was a lot more subtle.
It.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay.
And,
so
and I was making more money with the tobacco because everybody couldn't afford the Coke.
But the tobacco got too hot. So did you stop the tobacco when you started bringing in the Coke?
I didn't stop anything.
Okay, great.
Right?
So you're okay. You didn't tell me that. You're just adding different products.
Well, it was a feel, right? Now I already had my tobacco connect. I know he gonna get it, and the way I had it was I gave it to him, and he got it out of my house because I got so tired of the goddamn search coming to my area and me being nervous and all that. So the thing was, as soon as I get it to you, you get it out the area, you dispose of it.
How would he get it out of the area?
Because he was a trustee, he worked in the kitchen.
Right.
And he, a lot of drugs go on throughout the jail due to lazy officers.
Right.
Because if we did everything we're supposed to do, right, you'll catch a lot more of it. You're not gonna catch everything.
No.
Like, for instance, me and you work in a housing area, there's only 2 of us. There's 100 inmates. The rule says every time inmates leave the housing area or come in the housing area, you search them. Bro.
Hanging to search 100 people.
I've been partying all night. I'm tired, I'm slumped, I'm drunk.
Yeah.
I'm not certain. Guess what? If I did, the captain, because you got certain hours of the feeding, right?
Certain hours of what?
It's called the feeding is the breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They call it the feeding, meaning it's funny. A process where all the inmates come down to the mess hall to feed. Everybody got to take turns bringing their houses down to the mess hall.
Right.
That feeding would go on for hours if the officers searched every inmate, 100 inmate, coming out the housing area to make sure you're not bringing no weapons, drugs, anything out there. I got to search.
Right.
So that's 100 on it coming out.
It's not feasible.
And then they got to pass this metal detector in the hallway to make sure nobody passed weapons in the hallway. Then going into the mess hall, you search them. Everybody.
So you get search leaving, and then search going in, plus passing through a metal detector.
Yes. And then
they still get stuff in.
To make sure that you ain't meet your boy in the mess hall.
Right.
On the way out the mess hall, everybody gets searched.
It's impossible. It's literally impossible. And if one guy does it, if one guy's all gung-ho, that means the rest of the COs got to do it, and they don't want to do the extra work.
And the supervisors is so like, I'm not going to be here for freaking 5 hours. You'll never get to lunch.
Right. I see.
Or whatever. So they was like, run the house out. And we would run them in there. And the officer safety, not in the rules, the less inmates that are passing in the corridor, the safer the officers are.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So the quicker we get you in there to eat your food, the quicker we get you back in the house, the less cuttings and stabbings and stuff go on.
Okay. That makes sense. Okay. So the trustees get it out, how they get it out. Did they ever get caught with
all the time they got caught.
Right. And they didn't rat on you. Wow. Okay. And that's just like a trip to the hole or something?
Depending on what they get caught with.
Yeah.
If it's tobacco, because they take gloves, they put the tobacco in there. I've never seen nobody get caught with coke, but they got caught with tobacco, got caught being drunk, and got caught with like real money from in the street.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing with that?
Yeah, stupid.
You know?
Right.
So
okay. So tell us about how the coke. So now you got tobacco and coke. How did you grow that?
Like I said, everybody couldn't afford coke.
Right.
So I would bring in coke at least maybe 2-3 times a month.
Okay.
But so that was enough.
That's a nice 4 Gs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Plus my paycheck.
Yeah.
You know.
And the tobacco.
Yeah. So listen, you think that's something,
Did you buy a house? Did you get back on your feet?
No. Oh yeah.
Did you got a spot?
Yes. I had a couple of spots. I had 3 spots.
Nice.
You know, a couple of cars.
Yeah.
You know, I learned from some of the older drug dealers not to be too flashy.
Right.
So I would buy stuff like minivans and MPVs and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And I would drive the same car to work.
Of course.
I'm not.
Don't show up in your new flashy joint.
Not my Tuesday Mercedes or my Wednesday.
Right.
So I learned from the older cats. Like even when I had the beef with my best friend and he was trying to kill me and we was going at it, the older cats would tell me, listen, when you go up to your floor, don't just get off the elevator. Let the door open and sit there.
Yeah, yeah.
And at the last minute, jump out.
Right.
Don't go in the 2 floors below or 2 floors at. Come out a different exit.
Right.
So I learned all this stuff.
Of course.
Not that I was a super duper gangster, but like if you in that life,
though. Yeah, you have to be
because
smart.
guess what? There's inmates that know your whole family, know where you went to school, know where you lay your head at and everything, and will get at you.
Right. Now, when your best friend who you had to beat up, when he shot at you, when he got out and then he came by and shot at you, were you already crooked and selling dope by then?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. That's why you had the pistol on.
Yes. No, but as an officer,
you had a legal gun.
Pistols on you all the time. But you know not to shoot it because if you shoot it, you're in trouble. Yeah. Especially if you're really not defending yourself.
Right. Okay, so then did you bring in anything, like how did this all, what happened after that? You're bringing in coke, tobacco?
I'm bringing in coke, tobacco.
You bringing hair on?
No.
Okay.
No. But they was getting it. That's how I knew competition was getting stiff. You know, I was bringing coke, tobacco, Cellphone.
Okay, yes.
Service.
Now it's the era of the cell phone.
Yes.
Tell us about this.
I would buy that because at the time when cell phones wasn't all these iPhones and all that. They had little flip phones like this that an inmate can boof in his behind in his rectum and hide it. At the time, you had cards that you could buy minutes.
All right.
So I would put 10 minutes on a phone.
Yeah.
$500, you get 10 minutes to say whatever you want to say.
Wow.
And then you bring that phone back to me.
Wow. Wow. And people would pay that.
Yes.
Wow.
Not to be on the Rikers Island phone.
Right. Right.
You know, and that was very lucrative.
Lucrative.
That was lucrative.
How often could you set that up?
I was doing that at least 2 or 3 times a week.
Oh my God.
Yes.
That's wild.
Yes. I had money coming from all over. That's why I can't really tell you like on an average day I made this and that. Because a lot of people couldn't afford it, but the ones who I knew, once I got somebody who I can trust that I was rocking with, you know, that's how I got caught. But you know, that I was rocking with, it was like a cash cow.
Right, right.
You know, and I would just offer my services. And then not to mention when I recruited a female correction officer that was offering up her services.
Okay, so tell us about this.
Yeah. Actually, that's my second book. It's called Copstitute.
Okay.
What would you do to feed your kids? So, listen, I don't care if you work in a hospital, police department, fire department, whatever. I'm not talking about anybody's occupation. Sex is going to be around. So officers are like that's no brainer. That's why it's a high rate of child support and all kind of crazy. I learned that when I first got in there, that officers are, and it's because they spending so much time on the job.
It's high stress. Yeah.
You know, you spend more time with me than you do your husband.
Yeah, right.
So eventually something gonna happen.
Sure.
You know, so you would have inmates that would come down on new charges, right? And be on Rikers Island. Now they're already bitten. Now they come down to go to court on other charges. And they got money.
Oh, you mean there are inmates in serving time in the penitentiary who get caught new cases up there and they send them back to Rikers.
No, they up in doing the penitentiary doing a bid.
Yeah.
And they got evidence that you had something to do with something else here. So you come back down to Rikers.
Right.
And you fighting another case
while from the street.
Yes.
Oh, I see. Gotcha. Wow.
So I learned all this after the fact. That is no secret. Is no trust in nobody. It's a status thing for an inmate to have an officer in his pocket, right? So female officer came to me one time because I'm dealing with anybody. First of all, me being a big guy, they put me in the high classification area in GMDC. 7 upper, 8 upper, high classifications. Those are all the drug kingpins, all the murderers, all the people fight.
So it was some high-minded criminals.
Yes, everybody who was in the paper came to my area.
Right. Do you remember any like real like high-profile guys that stand out that you guarded on Rikers?
I guarded the guy at the time when AIDS had first came out. I guarded this guy. He was all in the paper for spreading AIDS to a bunch of people. It was who was that guy? He had killed shot. I ain't gonna say killed like about 8 people, and he would show his paperwork about where he left this body here and this body here. It was a bunch of them who came through like drug dealers and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, anyway, sorry, it's okay. So you're in this high class unit, and so these cats got money.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So she was tired of getting beat. When I said getting beat, she was giving ass to inmates who didn't have money.
Oh my God!
And it was stiffer, like, oh, my people won't come, this and that, and would never. So she was an amateur.
Oh man!
I didn't bring nothing until I got the
paid,
money. Right? So sexing one of these dudes, they run their mouth pillow. I don't know how you pillow talk in jail, but they told her about me. So she came to me, kept her mouth shut, and offered me a proposition. I ain't want no ass. I'm getting all the but so they had something called a pyramid scheme. Right? A whole bunch of officers was in there, even higher ups, deputies, all that. And she was sexing them, getting money from them.
Wow.
The captains and all that. So we and her came to an agreement that I would let her know the dudes that really got money that's really going to pay her. She would rock out with them.
How much would she charge? Like a kingpin?
She would charge them $1,500 a pop because she figured these motherfuckers ain't gonna last for so long anyway.
Right.
I was getting $500 off that from showing her who.
Yeah.
Right. And she made pretty decent money. There's been times where not only them, I would see her out in the street, take a deputy. She will have me sit in my car, follow her, get out her car, get in his car, follow him, go to the hotel as kind of like proof if he ever
ratted. Yeah. There's eyes on you.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
Listen,
it goes so deep, dude. That is crazy.
When I sit back and I look at myself, the craziness, and at that time, it wasn't crazy at all.
Right.
You know,
you're in it. And
then she started the inmates that I would let know. And then now I'm selling ass. I'm gonna tell you a funny
you're
story.
Pimping. You're selling dope. You're pimping. Damn, you went from a square Marine. If those crackheads from Harlem could see you now, boy, you're running it.
Yeah. So, and I'm gonna tell you a funny story. Now I did my time. I'm working again. The Daily News calls me. They want we want to feature your book in the Daily News. So I'm thinking they're gonna put this little article about my book. So she said, "Where are you?" I said, "I'm at work." I said, I'll come out for lunch. I'm working for New York City Housing. I come down, a photographer takes like 100 pictures of me and about to leave. I said, "So where's the reporter?" She's gonna call you later. Never get the call, right? I had a boy running the newsstand. He called me like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, what happened? Like, I'm thinking something happened. He said, "You are on the front page of the Daily News."
Wow.
And it says, and I quote, "He made money selling coke, cigarettes, and cooch by having female officers prostitute themselves." Wow. He pimped out female correction officers. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I can't say that I pimped them out. She was doing it anyway.
Yeah, of course. You were just an escort service. Wow.
Basically, because pimping is making you like, you better go do it or I'm going to beat your ass.
Yeah. Well, how many tricks do you think you helped her turn? Quite a few?
Once again, everybody didn't have that kind of money. But she did about $4,500 a week plus her thing, and would come like it's sometime like listen
like how but here's my question though, how do you set that up? Where do you the bathroom?
Well, remember back then and there's not cameras like that.
Right.
So she had a post where she floated around. You know, sometimes delivering mail, sometimes coming to get them from escorting for medication early in the morning. So we always had it mapped out.
Yeah.
Once we got the money, she'll come with her condoms.
Yeah.
Go right in the officer's bathroom.
Yeah.
You know it ain't no camera in there.
Right. Wow.
Do your business.
Yeah.
And like she said,
would you stand guard?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Because I don't need her getting caught in there.
Right.
Now I remember one time this ain't got nothing to do with what I'm doing. I caught a female officer giving an inmate. And then when I caught her, like, I'm gonna tell you like this. If you ain't yelling, screaming, "Help me, get him off me."
Right.
I'm out of my business.
Wow.
And later on, I was a dirty Negro. Cause later on, I acquired it. Yeah, because she tried to explain, that was my baby daddy. I got a kid by him, and blah, blah, blah. I was just like, listen, hey.
Give me some. No one will ever find out.
A couple of times.
I'm playing.
No, but listen, that's the nature of the game. But guess what? They use what they got.
Yeah.
At that time.
By the way, did you ever sexual assault amongst inmates? Did that happen on Rikers? I hate asking that question.
Of course, because see, all right, I don't want to say the wrong thing about the community. I don't want to say the wrong thing because now you got to be correct. Back then, back then they had what you call homosexual or gay housing.
Right.
Where if you said that you were were gay,
Yeah.
they will put you all together.
Right.
Reason being because a lot of these gangsters,
Yeah, they don't want that.
They would beat them up, mistreat them. So for their own safety, they'll put them together.
Yeah.
That don't mean that they wasn't getting taken advantage of in that housing area.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
And some people being spiteful will put a straight young person talking ish in them housing areas.
Like COs would mix them.
Yes.
Like you're going to the gay unit.
Yes.
So what would happen if you sent like a hard rock to the gay unit?
One time I found a young man in there. Like, this is what I'm trying to say. People got to understand, when I talk to deter people from going to jail. Because I'm going to let you know, a CO has your life in their hands, bro. Right? So you talk tough, Tony. I don't care if you kingpin of all kingpin, knock out 30 people. I can still decide whether you live or die up in there.
Wow.
So one time a kid was running his mouth to a female CO, ugly in the town. Everybody want to, being very disrespectful. So she signed him in to gay housing. And when you go to gay housing, I can't live here, I'm not going there. Then the squad comes and whip your ass. So you're going in that housing area.
Yeah.
Right?
Wow.
That I found that out later because at the time, everybody had to work the gay housing. So I was working there one time. And you got to do a count. At least 3 times a day, you got to do a count, make sure all the inmates are accountable.
Yeah.
Look in the cells, make sure nobody hanging themselves, because you never know what somebody got found guilty of.
Did you ever see that? Did they ever have to cut you saw people hanging?
I cut somebody down.
Oh my God.
Yes.
That's terrible, dude.
Bro, this is...
Oh, it's awful.
But
it happens all the time still in Rikers.
They teach you in the academy that you these are possibilities of that, what you're going to run into.
Oh, man.
So I'm doing my count, and I'm coming up one short all the time.
Yeah.
One short. So sometimes officially you yell count time, and they all go stand in front of their cell, and you do the count. You tell we got 30. Good. Then they go back to doing what they're doing. Or if it's a smooth day and there ain't no fighting, and you tell everybody freeze count. Stay where you are. I count everybody in the day room.
Right.
I count everybody this, that, 30. Be good.
Yeah.
Kept coming up short. Right? So I said, okay, now listen, everybody go in front of their cell now. Now we got to do it the right way.
Right.
Still coming up short. So I'm going by this one particular guy cell, right? And I noticed that he would make sure that he's standing in front of his window, right? So I'm counting down, I looked in the window and I seen a trickle of blood on the floor. So I move, right? So I go in there and I follow the blood and I lift up his sheet, and there go the young guy.
Oh, no.
He's wrapped head to toe in a sheet. The only thing that is exposed is his mouth and his butt.
And this is the guy that was running his mouth that you guys put in there?
Running his mouth.
No.
They was doing him dirty. And we failed them.
Yeah.
As an officer.
Yeah.
We okay, I'm gonna say it like this. You're not gonna catch anything. You're not gonna catch everything. I don't care if you super gung-ho on your job. The way it's designed, this is another reason why I don't go to jail. The way it's designed. You got 50 inmates here, or in the cell area, 30 and 30. I'm controlling all the knobs. Another one's going back and forth. When he goes over to A side, somebody getting beat up, robbed on the B side. And then you ask them what happened, or I slipped in the shower. Because they're afraid to tell you that this dude just made me give him and took my sneakers and beat me up.
Yeah.
So I found this kid.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I'm my partner's right? Because it's a difference. People get in prison, I hate to say it like this, all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them will never make us think about it.
Yeah. Oof.
Some of them go to the clinic and it's found out that they don't want it to be known around the jail that they got.
Right.
So, in particular, I was terrified. There's no answering. Like, it's no, how are we going to hide this?
Right.
How are we going to answer for this?
Right.
Because we supposed to be watching all the time.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to be on one side. You're supposed to be patrolling back and forth.
Right. Yeah.
Giving them options, opening their cell, watching them.
So what'd you guys do?
I got them from under there.
Yeah.
Oh, I put the beats on the guy whose cell he was in.
Oh, of course.
But he
wasn't
that
the
one
guy
that
off the
did it.
tier. Oh, really?
It was just his cell. They stashed him in because he was a punk. So
Wow.
somebody going to get something, especially if I'm losing my job.
Right.
Right?
Now, if you beat up somebody that was gay in this day and age that did that, even if they were in prison, would you be like in trouble because it's like it would be looked at as like a hate crime or something?
But it wasn't a hate crime. It wasn't that back then.
Yeah.
But right
Obviously,
now,
it's not. No, it's not even now. But like, it's not. But would they consider that?
Well,
potentially.
Okay, but
you might get a lawsuit by somebody trying to take advantage of you.
If I can prove you somebody, gay or not, you broke the law.
Yeah, of course.
That's why you got your ass.
Did you guys ever end up finding who did it?
Yeah, we found out who did it, transferred them out, but it's all after the fact because this is what happened. Like I said, you got to really sign yourself in and say, I'm gay to go into the gay housing. Right? So once this happened to this dude, and then I didn't know at the time how he got there. I'm just working the housing there. But you always find out everything after the fact.
Right.
That he cursed out some female officer, they made his ass go in there, and this is what happened to him. So now I get him from under the bed, unwrap him. He crying, trying to still have a tough persona, but it's Duke. Right?
Yeah.
My partner.
Are you worried about HIV?
Me?
Like, I'd be terrified.
At the time, bro.
Not even thinking about it.
My job.
Yeah.
Like, let me get this dude from under here.
Right.
And see what the story is.
Yeah.
Right? I hate to say it, you can always spin it. Lovers quarrel. He was with it. They had a fight. I mean, you thinking about saving your own ass.
Oh, right.
Right? So me and my partner trying to get the story together. I'm human. Bro, you want to go to the hospital? He said no.
Wow.
He said, Heyward, just get me out of here.
Yeah.
That's all I want.
Wow.
I don't want nobody to know.
Yeah.
I lucked up. He didn't want nobody to know.
Yeah.
He just wanted to be out of there.
Right.
ASAP Rocky. Got his card, made a few phone calls, swapped him with and got him.
Wow.
And I seen him.
Yeah.
In passing.
Yeah.
Now, motherfuckers don't talk.
Right.
But somebody saying that you got and versus people actually was there.
Right.
You can always dispute that.
Right. Wow.
And he never acted up again.
Wow. Well, obviously.
And he went, I think he did it like a little 5-year bit.
Man, I hope he went and got tested, bro.
But I'll tell you this.
God damn.
Me, whenever I worked that housing there, I was on my job.
For sure.
I was on my job.
That's wild. Okay. We gotta, man, that's insane. I mean, that's Rikers though. Like, and telling these stories, like that's like the chilling reality of what goes on in an American prison jail in the richest city in the country in the richest country on earth. That this is what happens every day.
Yes.
So let's round it out though. So you're on your hustle.
Mm-hmm.
How did it all fall apart? How'd you get knocked?
Getting comfortable. Getting comfortable.
Okay.
I had a friend that I was working with.
What do you mean working with?
It was another guy from a neighborhood. Now, he was from my neighborhood.
He was a CO?
No, inmate.
Okay, gotcha.
That I was doing business with.
Mm-hmm.
His sister was from my neighborhood. And periodically we were And she said, my brother's there. So it became all right. Like it was like clockwork.
Yeah.
She'd give me the package. I give it to them. They give me my money.
Right.
Right.
Coke?
So I got comfortable.
Mm.
I'm thinking he in there for a little skid bit.
What's a skid bid?
Skid bit is like
It's a quick one, right?
1.5. 4. That's what. Listen, 1 day in jail is horrific.
Right.
For somebody who's never been to jail.
Yeah.
But jailers, people who be going, you got 2 years, I'll sleep 2 years.
Right. Right.
So I stopped checking the packages. I got careless with touching. Because before you put it in the bag, I never touched nothing. And then when I give it to you, I dropped out the bag. So they could come raid this. My fingerprints ain't on.
Right.
So we cool. I'm making money.
Yeah.
Everything's
all good.
Yes. Yes. Until I'm working. Right. And the inmates, the blacks and Puerto Ricans about to have a little riot in the mess hall.
Mm-hmm.
So I go down there with a whole bunch of other officers trying to defuse the situation. And they rowdy, but as soon as I walk in, everybody simmered down. Everybody simmered down.
Huh.
And
that was unusual, right?
Very that a female captain observing the whole thing because we was about ready to get it in.
Right.
And she looked over because, my name is Heyward. Everybody, what's up, Wood? What's up, Wood? Inmates that I didn't even know was like, what's up, Wood?
Right.
People running their mouth.
Yeah.
So she asked me, who are you? I said, I'm Officer Heyward. No, she said, no, who are you?
Whoa. Just like that?
Just like that. And then now I'm like somebody talking. Because I've been rocking, once you rocking, making money, losing money, drunk, drinking, this, that.
How long is this run that you've been on?
I would say the run was about 6 years.
That's a long time.
It was, but
that's longer than most dope dealers on the streets last.
Listen, but you got to remember, I'm under cover of being a correction officer.
I know.
Whoever going to suspect me?
Of course.
And I'm gonna say off and on for 6 years because after this, I started dabbling in the streets, but I didn't have to do nothing because now I connects and Oh,
so you were moving stuff on the streets a little bit. Oh,
yes,
okay.
I really listen.
What are you talking, like wholesale or kibbles and bits?
Well, you know what? I was just connect. He had it. You go to him. Blah blah blah. Give me my cut.
We talking bricks?
Not bricks like that. Not bricks like that.
Like halves.
Tell you the truth, I'm not gonna tell you not bricks. Because once I made the introduction and got my cut, I don't know what you did after that.
Ah, gotcha.
But I didn't really want to do that because I'm an officer.
Right.
I'm killing.
Of course. Yeah, you're killing.
Man.
Yeah. You just got you know what you had? Multiple streams of income.
That's it.
Very good. Diversity, man.
So when stuff started getting back to me, this is why I be telling officers, like, it's no such thing as everything gonna come to an end.
Right. So after that incident, did you fall back or what happened? Okay.
I fell back, made a few phone calls from friends of mine, and I was quitting.
Yeah.
Get me out of here. Transfer me to the Tombs.
Downtown, yeah.
Yeah, right? As soon as I'm working in the Tombs, an inmate dies. Nobody knows why. In a holding pen. This followed me. But so now I'm working in Tombs, trying to become this model officer.
Yeah.
Again.
Right.
And then the call came down and they modified me.
What does that mean?
That means you're officially under investigation.
Wow. And these are the feds?
No, these are the
it?
IGs,
Yeah,
Internal
IGs.
Affairs for Corrections.
Okay, gotcha.
So now, when you under investigation, you're still getting paid. But we taking that shield, we taking that gun, and you get to keep your ID.
Okay, this is so interesting why they do that. Why do they tell you you're under investigation? Is the idea to catch you?
it's like the feds. They already got you.
Oh, wow.
You can run, you can do whatever. We already got, when we do that,
right.
See, they did that. They already had everything they needed on me.
They were just waiting to get all the paperwork together and connect the dots.
They was waiting to get the other people that was under investigation doing the same thing as me. Because when I got arrested, 6 other people got arrested.
Wow.
But we didn't, it wasn't like we was a gang.
Yeah.
Because there was other people in other jails.
Right. They just wanted to tie you in one big bust.
That's it.
Wow.
To make it big and crazy, like this is what we're doing.
Right. So when you got modified,
so now
what are you thinking?
I'm thinking, who the how the what they got on me.
Yeah.
Damn, I was reckless. You thinking all that reckless, I shouldn't have. Was it this one? No, you sitting there trying to figure it out. That I was modified for like 4 months until they knocked on my door.
At home?
At home. I was living with another female, a female CO. In the morning, they came, knocked on the door. They buzzed, because sometimes the police just buzz any buzzer to get in the building.
Yeah.
So they buzzed the buzzer, and they said, the police. And she's like, why the f they always buzz my buzzer to get in the building, not thinking they're coming to your house.
Right.
And they came up, they knocked on the door, and I'm getting dressed. And they asked us, Gary Heyward here. And she said, yeah, so now because now this is not correctional, these are cops.
Yeah.
So I'm even, right? And it was like, we need you to come with us, blah, 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 internal affairs, this and that. So I'm gonna be honest with you. At this point in time, I don't know what the f it is. Cocky me, you ain't got because I never got caught with no coke. I never got caught with no, with nothing.
Yeah.
Right? So they take me downtown. I forgot where it was, 2 Lafayette Street, somewhere like that, right? And now I'm not in handcuffs. I'm just riding in the back of the car with them.
Yeah.
Right? So they put me in a room. I sit down. They say, wait right here. Right? So they all come in. Right? And it was like, we were getting reports about contraband and cocaine and blah, blah, blah. So me, I'm taking everything to a grade. I don't know what you're talking about. This and that. So they had a TV there. And they put the video up, right? So they said, we just want to show you something. So I look, and it's me taking a package from this dude's sister. Right?
On the streets?
On the streets. She met me, I remember, in front of a bowling alley. I thought it was odd, but I'm so used to meeting her. They were in a car videotaping me taking it.
Wow.
Right? Dumb me, not checking, used to doing business with her.
Yeah.
Took it to bring it to the brother. They told me, is that you? I'm like, I'm not going to say yes. Little did I know, I didn't have to say because I'm busy looking at myself up on the screen. They got another camera behind a mirror looking at my facial expressions that they're going to use against me. Like he never said it was him, but you can see his reaction when he saw himself.
Right. Wow.
Right? So now I'm like, in my mind, I am right? And I'm like this. I never said, yes, that's me. I was like this, like, you know, oh, right? After I did that, then stood me up. You got the right to remain silent, handcuffed me.
Is that all they had?
I didn't know. That was too much for me. And I didn't know what they had, right? If you got that, now I'm like, how reckless was I? If I didn't know about that, what else did they have on me? So now I'm getting booked. I get down to what you call Bronx Criminal Court, right?
Do you live in the Bronx?
No. Well, everybody from Rikers Island get arrested, they go to the Bronx.
Oh, right, Bronx County, right.
So I'm in the Bronx, and then they bring in other officers. And then they bring in the officer, you know, that when I first got wind, who was bringing in coke. So when I saw him and all that, the gig was up.
Wow.
Now I'm wondering how much, who they got, whatever. So when everything unfolded, they said that the girl and her brother was coming to testify, so they wouldn't get time to testify against me.
Wow.
And I'm dead if that's true. Right. So I'm sitting there now, $30,000 bail.
So is that 10%? You just put up $3,000?
Yeah. No, it was $300, so I had to pay $30,000.
30, got it. Okay.
In hindsight, I had the money, but one thing that happened when they arraigned me. Now,
are you being charged in federal court?
I'm being charged
in federal court or state?
State.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Right.
The state deals with it. Usually it's the feds when it's like cops and.
But I'm gonna be honest with you. If I was a real criminal, like I was a criminal, but I was in like it was synthetic coke.
Oh, the package that she gave you.
Because they can't give you real coke.
Oh, interesting. The feds could,
you see what I'm saying?
But the state
now,
has to
I
fall.
known that, I probably would have fought a little bit more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I'm thinking they got me.
Did you have a good lawyer?
I was going. That's what I was going to do, but half me said, "Save your money, bro. It's already front page. I'm getting arraigned. I look back, my mom, family there.
Yeah,
it's dead.
Yeah,
that was the hardest thing over this whole bid.
Yeah,
look at my mother across that visit floor table and telling her, don't put up the house, don't put up this, that, don't do all that. Let me just ride this out. Right. Still, I still didn't know how much time. What I was getting. So then scaring the shit out of my mother. And me. Oh, he was suspected of all the drugs that was coming in the building. All this and that. If convicted of all charges, he faces life in prison. The street part of me is like, okay, you caught me for a half ounce of cocaine. Motherfuckers don't get life.
Relax.
For that. If that's all they got you for. So now I don't know. Come on, you know how it is. In jail, they play that game. You're sitting there, you ain't connected. Nobody can talk to you. I ain't got no co-defendants. So when it came down to it, I had been in about 5 months.
Okay, so you didn't bail out.
I didn't bail out.
Where were they keeping you at Rikers?
No.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you, the inmates loved me. Right. Bloods, Crips, Latin Kings, it didn't make a difference. I did business with everybody. And when they found out the guy who was snitching on me, they had to get him out the state. They had to get him out. Oh. Because they were going to riot. Right?
Wow.
And they couldn't keep me on Rikers because they was going to riot. So they sent me to Nassau County.
Long Island.
And will bring me back and forth. And whatever money I had, I figured I was going to need, because I felt I'm caught.
When you go to prison, you're going to need that money.
So when they came and offered your boy 2 flat.
2 years?
2 years.
That's a skid bid.
Dumb me. They must ain't got it.
Oh.
You see what I'm saying?
Because they're trying to deal already.
I could probably get him. But dumb me, talk to myself, you ain't know about this bowling alley video.
I
already been in 5 months. So out of 24 months, you do 20 months. I ripped the lawyer's shirt, getting that pen out of his pocket to sign that. And then I went up north. And that's when the real fun begin.
Okay. Wow. So look, we're out of time. I want to save the bid, the story of you being up north, for the Patreon. If you wouldn't mind, just like an extra half hour, we'll stay and share these stories with the premium members. Is that cool? Because I don't want to give away. This has been one of the most fascinating stories. I'm pleasantly surprised. This interview is, I want people to go buy your book and watch your YouTube channel. Okay. So let's do that. I don't want to give everything away. So go ahead and plug away. My book, Corruption Officer, is by Simon & Schuster.
It's on Amazon, 5-star reviews. My YouTube channel is Gary Heyward. You know, Big G to CO.
Yeah.
And check your boy, walk with me.
Yeah. Go subscribe. Go check it out. I assume you tell these stories, but in great detail.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Go rock with it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm certainly going to go subscribe. Go check out his book. And yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah, it's just I think we're out of camera battery. We didn't think it was going to go this long, but this is incredible.
Okay.
Bring it all back. How long have you been out? And what are you doing with your life now?
Okay.
I mean, obviously you're doing great things. You're writing, you're on the internet.
Yes. Right now, I've been out for like about 13 years.
Yeah.
I got another job with the city.
Hilarious. How long did it take you to like get that?
I'm going to tell you too. I came home in 08, 09.
Yeah.
08, 09, I had the city job. Because it was a laborer job.
Yeah,
They figured you're not touching money, you're not messing with kids.
Yeah.
You're not in a prominent position.
Right, right.
But I worked my way up through the ranks, and I'm doing fairly well. I write scripts. I got the opportunity to work with Will Smith's company. They optioned the book. It was supposed to become a series on FX. Still working at Magic.
Can they go buy the book on Amazon?
The book is on Amazon.
Yeah.
You know, corruption officer, perpetrator with a badge. Second book coming out next year, Copstitute, What Would You Do to Feed Your Kids?
Wow.
Third book is House Gang, The Crooks That Slipped Through the Cracks. Let's go.
Are you selling these books in prison?
Well,
you better be, dude, because,
listen,
man.
I'm going to say this, too. Female officers show me support, and they buy the book, and they purposely took it in Rikers Island because it was banned.
They banned the book from Rikers.
From Rikers Island.
Oh, that's cool.
But up north, you know, my book is rocking inside the jail.
Wow.
You know, it's a great book.
I'm going to read that, bro.
I got one for you.
Okay, you better.
Yes.
I want you to sign it.
Yes, sir.
Gary, incredible, man. I feel like I've known you for 10 years.
Yes.
Dude, this was
real
great.
Comfortable. This was great. Easy, yes.
So please go check him out and switch over to the Patreon right now. We're going to chop it up a little bit more, hear a few more stories. Head over to patreon.com/theconnectshow. Gary, we appreciate you again.
Gary Heyward, GaryHeyward.
Gary Heyward. Go check him out on YouTube and buy his book. All right, guys, take care.